Picture this. It's New York City. The year is 1938. And suddenly, a little boy pickpockets a man. He's running. The guy's mad. The cops come after him, and they chase him into an alleyway.
Does Hitler come into play here?
Later.
Keep going.
And he runs into an alleyway after stealing the wallet. And now the cops are being very, very prejudiced, very mean, and they're this isn't the first time this kid's pickpocketed, so they're gonna try and beat him with their batons. When suddenly, a gentleman who got pickpocketed appears in the back of the alley.
Is that Hitler?
No. Okay. I will let you know when we get to almost Hitler.
Okay.
Where's Robert E.O. Speedwagon during all of this?
Right now, Robert E.O. Speedwagon, I believe, is returning from a trip from South America.
It was like a vacation, or
he was doing some excavation work, but that'll come into play
digging bones up.
That'll come into play a lot sooner than you think it will.
Who's Robert?
I didn't think it was coming into play.
All right, Eric. So when you explain part one, Dominic wasn't here. I think you need to bring him up to speed.
Yeah, give him like 5
I
words.
don't know anything about.
Yeah, okay.
Five word or 5 sentences.
We're talking about.
Did you
JoJo's.
even? Do you even know? Do you even know what he's explaining?
Okay, so this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's a manga that's been going for 30, 40 years, something like that.
Older than you are.
Yeah. And there's an anime that's been out since 2012.
Not as old as you.
Yeah, not nearly as old. Not nearly as old.
No.
It's broken up into parts, basically.
Seasons.
How do they effectively seasons?
The way you're explaining it is like he's never seen a TV show before.
Well, okay.
They filmed these little bits of
so riddle me this one then. Part 1 and 2 are season 1.
He's got you there.
Season 2 is part 3. Yeah, you little just wait until we get into the multi-part part 6.
How do they keep adding stuff? This has been going on for 30 years?
Yes.
They need to close the book on this.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, Dominic. It doesn't get stale.
Oh, really?
That's
He's not
subjective.
gonna lie to you as much as you want him to.
That's not even subjective. That's just a fact.
I have been keeping up with it ever since Chapter 1 debuted. Don't fact check that at all, please.
Back in like the 80s?
So-
Yeah.
Okay.
Ever since it first came out.
Okay.
Exclusively in Japan. Didn't come to America.
Day
until,
one fan.
Early 2010s.
So if I wanted
good parents.
to watch the whole thing from start to present, where it is right now, how long would that take?
Honestly, if you got nothing better to do for a week, you could catch up.
Ooh, hear that, Dom? 1 week.
Straight? They're really
More
not
or less.
welcoming new
You're
watchers
allowed-
at this point. If they want new customers, how are they going to bring people in?
So that's
How do people get into Grey's Anatomy or The Simpsons?
All right.
they don't. You can't.
You're either still into it or you never will.
That's
They
valid. That's
don't,
valid.
but those don't have Dio
That's
Or
true.
Jojo.
or Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
See, that's what
Or
I'm saying.
Hitler.
That's what I'm saying. Or Hitler, kind of.
Hitler,
Yeah.
kind of.
So to spoil part 1 a little bit,
Yeah, just
I
a couple sentences. Just
in
yeah,
case,
just a
in
brief.
case.
Very
wrap.
brief.
So yeah, part 1, 2 children, one's adopted, they don't get along. The blonde-haired one's evil, his name's Dio, and Dio becomes a vampire. Jonathan learns sunshine karate magic.
I'm gonna be
to
honest.
beat
The
Dio.
vampire element is a bit
Not important.
Hit or miss for
Well,
you?
I mean, when you're picturing a vampire, I think you're gonna be disappointed when you see what this vampire is.
Yeah, he's 6'8" and 270 pounds of muscle.
Barely even counts as a vampire.
Well, vampires are usually tall, aren't they?
Tall, yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Tall,
I think
maybe not total beefcake.
Yeah, maybe not as jacked.
Maybe not
yeah.
huge hunk, but
Other than
tall.
there's
maybe not,
usually.
maybe not so damn sexy.
Well, he doesn't even turn into a bat.
No,
That's a
but
big
he,
hit.
And
That's
he
a big
sucks
blow.
blood with his fingers, not his fangs.
Doesn't make sense to that point, does it?
Which threw me off the first time I saw it, but after that I was just okay.
I think that'd be more convenient, honestly.
Right?
Well, yeah.
I think this is the same conversation we had on, because you got more reach.
I think you can
like,
do
you
it more
can-
stealthy, too.
Yeah, right. I can just
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just walk by and be like, and
Yeah.
it's oh, fucking bug.
sure.
Does Dio do that?
No, he's pretty loud.
He's pretty upfront about
He's
it.
pretty loud and clear when he's attacking people.
Yeah.
and
That's
why
just a
he's
missed
attacking
opportunity.
people.
Yeah, it's just
So I
And the
just-
fact that his name is Dio.
So I just feel like becoming a vampire is a bit of a moot point when it's you just make him super powerful, you know?
I mean,
He's that too, though.
yeah, he's
got both.
Basically, the way vampires work in this universe, sunlight's still bad. Everything else, not a problem.
So
just
garlic's
sunlight?
okay?
There's no direct mention of that, but like I'm sure Dio would
No
eat,
garlic episode?
Like, yeah, there's not a garlic episode.
garlic
until-
Surprised
incident.
after how
until
many
at least part
seasons?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is.
Oh, okay.
No, that's one of the,
Oh,
that's
it's
one of
not
the
yet?
another great thing about JoJo. Fucking say anything. There's probably a JoJo
Say
episode
it.
or
Say
arc
anything.
about it.
Say anything,
Anything.
right now.
Anything.
How long is each season, like episode-wise?
So,
And how many
so this
seasons?
is
It's
why
always the best way to start it. It's always
this is
Yeah,
well
he has to think about it.
technically.
this is why I was able to get into it.
This
like,
is why I
because
love
like
JoJo.
If you read the
heard-
manga,
I
it's actually
heard a
longer.
lot of things, seen a lot of memes about JoJo, and I saw it on Netflix. I'm like, oh, okay, I can, it's like it was only 25 episodes. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I can
Yeah, 25 is doable.
today and tomorrow. That's
A
just
week.
that's just
Week
part
straight.
1 and 2.
And how many parts are there?
6, but 25 episodes gets you part 1 and 2. Part 3 is 50 episodes. Part 4 is like 48. Part 5 is I think right around that 48, 50 mark.
So we only
as
got to
well.
like 12 episodes last time?
9.
9. In
Part
an hour
one-
or so?
Part
Buckle up.
1 is the shortest and least consequential part, except like 3 things. By far.
All
So
right.
part 1's pretty dull. You can just skip that if I wanted to watch.
I am a part 1 truther.
You're a
I
purist.
think it is quite good actually. It's
Unless you
basi-
like dogs.
It's basically just
I do like dogs.
Oh, I
then
think
maybe JoJo isn't the show for you. The dog on fire isn't even.
Wait,
That's just the first dog death. That's just the first.
there's multiple.
There's like one a
didn't know that.
season. Like
This
at
doesn't
least.
seem that interesting.
All right.
Get back
so,
to the pickpocket or whatever.
So
Oh, yeah,
pickpocket-
yeah.
Real quick though, because
yeah.
Jonathan has nothing to do with part 2.
Cool.
So yeah,
I'll forget about him.
The other character I didn't name from part 1 is Jonathan. He's
Robert
the
E.O.
main character.
Speed.
And
He's
there's-
not coming back. He's in the Bahamas right now.
Yeah, he's in South America. He's doing stuff which we'll get to. But yeah, basically each part is a new generation, so it's not really a main character; it's a main family.
Things like Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
Modern Family. Yeah.
Yeah,
Things
it's-
like Modern Family. Yeah.
it actually the Pokemon analogy works real well because it's a new generation and it's a new region.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
always the same people.
Boom.
Not the same, but it's always
kinda.
It's the same type of people, I think.
Between part 1 and part 2, we jumped ahead 50 years.
So we missed World War 1 and 2.
We missed World War 1. World War 2 is like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen?
Oh yeah, true. World War 2 was it? Yeah. 1930,
it's,
whatever.
Yeah,
you
it's
said.
like late 30s,
Yeah, never mind,
36,
never mind.
38, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So back to the alleyway, back to the cops, back to the handsome stranger coming from behind.
I didn't even remember that part.
That was right at the start. Right after the rip.
And he goes, "Hey, that guy's not a pickpocket. I gave him my wallet as a gift." And the cops are like, "I don't buy it, sir. Like, I think you're just trying to cover for him, blah, blah, blah." And then he's like, "Well, let him go." And they're like, "We're not going to do that." So then, an altercation starts, and then the gentleman at the back of the alley is holding a soda bottle, and he suddenly, it just shoots a bottle cap and breaks the finger off of the cop that was pointing his gun at Joseph.
Do you think that's?
I didn't say who it was yet. Ignore that one part. So the guy shoots a bottle cap off a bottle of soda, destroys, and you see a lot of like viscera and like the thing going through.
Bone.
Cop's finger as it's about to go to the trigger before he can shoot.
Would that not still
and
hit
then-
the trigger anyway?
It's like he hadn't quite made it there yet.
But when the bottle cap still like push it maybe? If it's going that fast?
Yeah, but it's going that fast, but like aimed super well. Like,
Oh,
he's
okay.
so cool. He's
Okay.
so cool.
All
He's so
right.
good
Why
at
would you
aiming.
shoot someone over pickpocketing?
Yes. It was the 30s.
Okay.
Standards, I believe, were a little different.
It didn't seem like they made that big of a deal when like Dio was doing his.
Right. We got.
Yeah, no one got shot in part
yeah,
one.
somebody's
vampire-
shooting over a pickpocketing, but vampires.
Yeah, Vampire
Yeah.
King can come and like take over entire towns, and utilize Jack the Ripper as his own like personal servant. I skipped that part in part 1.
Jack the Ripper, okay.
Yeah,
Noted.
Jack the Ripper comes out of a horse to attack our protagonist.
I should have guessed that one honestly. To be
Wait,
fair.
Jack the
So
Ripper was a
Jonathan
vampire, too.
Joestar.
Should've just guessed that one myself,
Jonathan
probably.
Joestar is dead now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
End of part 1. Jonathan Joestar.
Spoiler, sorry, dumb.
Yeah, slight spoiler. Our hero
not
from
gonna
part
watch
1,
this.
Jonathan,
Forget about it.
He is no longer with us. He died incapacitating Dio for the final time.
Oh, what did he?
Wink.
Dio isn't dead though, right?
Wink.
Dio isn't dead.
Correct.
But at the end of part one, Dio and John are dead.
Okay, end of part 1, start of part 2. We've got dead Jonathan. We've got Dio's head, which is still alive, but it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Like Disney.
So he's not going to do much.
Does he do much?
A lot more. He does a lot more.
How does he get up?
We'll get to that in part 3.
Does he roll up to the shore?
No, I think it's some like animal creature.
I think it's
brings
Robert
him.
E.O. Speedwagon.
A whale brings him to the surface.
Yeah.
As far as continuity is concerned, part 2 was written under the assumption that Dio was dead, but then he comes back for part 3.
Okay.
That's fine.
So we assume
Wait, so
he's dead
Dio's
right
not
now.
coming back for this part?
Right.
There's no Dio?
What the
No
hell
Dio.
is the point then?
No Dio in this part.
It's a different family we're following.
Yeah.
Well, we're still following Joseph.
We're in Jojo now.
So,
Wait, John? What happened to John?
Jonathan is dead.
That was the first one he
Joseph?
said, yeah.
Joseph is the new handsome gentleman at the alleyway who just shot a cop. But he's the good guy.
With the
Oh.
bottle cap.
Yeah, bottle cap.
Okay.
It's bottle cap, not a bullet.
Yeah. New Jonathan. Get with it.
There's, okay.
So it's another Joestar.
yes,
How did
Joseph
Jonathan? Is this Jonathan's baby?
This is Jonathan's grandson. Irina.
What?
He had kids?
So the boat that they were on when Jonathan and Dio had their final battle and Irina escaped from, she was pregnant with the child.
Never mentioned this.
She was pregnant with Jonathan's child, and she also saved a random baby.
It took an hour to explain this whole thing, and you didn't mention that.
Okay, Irina's pregnant, and she also saved a random baby from that same boat who definitely won't be a character in part 2. Definitely
not,
won't.
okay.
That's not going to be a big reveal.
I'll forget about him.
Yeah, her.
Do you like part
Her.
2?
I do like part 2. I do like part 2. I was a big fan of the Hamon era, which is parts 1 and 2. The Sunshine Karate Magic.
Sunshine Karate Magic.
Karate
Eric, I gotta be honest.
You
Like
gotta
whenever,
breathe.
like every time you say Sunshine Karate Magic, I do kind of zone out for a brief second.
It just sounds like you found 3 words and just put them together.
But I mean, think of a better way to fight a vampire.
He's got a point.
That is a good
He's got a
point.
point there,
Like
yeah.
now
I'll
I'm punching with the power of the sun. Like that's pretty baller.
Sure.
Okay,
Right?
all
I see
right.
it. I see it.
So,
All right.
So
Let's go back
the
to the alley.
grandson of Jonathan Joestar is back, and he just
the first
shot
time.
a man.
In New York.
Yes, in New York City. He's an
Alright.
American, but he still has a British accent.
What are we, like 30 seconds into part 2 so far?
Probably closer to a minute.
Okay.
Probably a bit closer to a minute.
Alright,
this
cool.
is still the first scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still not really picturing it as you told me to.
I have it in my head, but I think it's way off. Than
I'm
what
still thinking about
happened.
Hitler, to
I
be
mean,
honest.
yeah. Again, we'll get to him. Kind
Is
of.
he really in this lore?
Mickey Mouse soon.
Yeah, we do eventually get to Mickey Mouse.
The crossover. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Also, you haven't brought up any random anything for me to tell you how it relates.
Yeah, name
I'm
a
still
thing.
willing to do that.
Yeah, name anything.
I have so many questions, but I don't even know.
Just say
Just say
something.
anything.
Who are the Joestars? John Stars?
Oh, the Joestars. That's the main family that we follow.
That's their
Like,
last name?
Yep. Every
Think of like the Kardashians.
every protagonist.
Okay.
Yep. Every protagonist is whatever Joestar,
Okay.
and the gimmick is like they can have the nickname Jojo. So like Jonathan Joestar, they call him Jojo, and then part 2 there's Joseph Joestar, so it's Jojo.
okay.
That's their
And then
No, that kind of
and
redeems it a little bit.
it kind of keeps
Kind of
going.
redeems it.
And then there's part 3's protagonist who is still a Joestar. His name's Jotaro Kujo, so it's like Jojo. And then part 4 is Josuke Higashikata, so you know, like Jojo.
Yep, I got it. So these are just all.
And then we get
lineage
to
of
part
the-
7 where it's Jonathan Joestar again, but different.
It's like the great grandchild.
Junior.
Different. Same year.
year.
Alternate reality, I think.
Yes, alternate universe.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
like, what do you think about this alternate universe stuff? I kind of think it kind of makes things a little, kind of takes the meat away from some things. You know?
I think it helps. I think it helps raise
You're
the
way wrong,
stakes.
yeah.
Because like
I feel like
when-
it doesn't raise the stakes because
when
I'm
the
kinda
original
like,
universe came to an end, that proved that like nothing is sacred here. Like the whole world that we just spent like at that point something like 20 years, 25 years, building, growing, learning from and everything. Gone.
It's like at the end of like part 5, it all just ends. That's like over.
Part 6.
That's at the end of part 6. They just like, they jump ship after that to new redo or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of people, this is a common argument in the JoJo fandom, whether or not part 6 resets the universe and that's what makes part 7. Officially, no. Part 6 ends, universe gets reset, and there's a third universe that never gets explored for more than 10 seconds. And then part 7 begins in a completely unrelated universe in the same sphere.
Sure.
Don't join JoJo arguments on Reddit.
I was just
You're-
You went down that loophole yourself.
You're gonna get buried. fall down that rabbit hole for quite a while.
So these Joestars, do they have superpowers, or are they just regular people?
They are regular people with a heart of gold.
What
does
the
that mean?
f happens then? What the f
Regular
happens?
people with a heart of gold. So the Hamon and the Ripple, that is. You
Like
said
on
not. You
chips.
said not to say Sunshine Karate Magic.
Like rippled.
We're a Lay's guy.
Yeah.
We're Lay's in the universe.
So, like that is basically just a thing that's any human can do, but the Joestars learn and master the technique because it's like an ancient art.
Karate.
And then
Sunshine.
part 3, you can forget about Hamon because that's when stands come into play, which are basically just ghosts of your personality.
You're trying to
with
explain part
superpowers.
2.
Back to the alleyway, 10 seconds into the first episode of part 2.
Bottle cap.
Bottle cap shoots cop finger, and then the cops run off. So he's like, "Oh my god, man, thank you." And then he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Joseph Joestar," which is a lot more
would've guessed.
impactful if I didn't have to backpedal for about 15 minutes.
Say it 7 times already. Yeah.
If I didn't have to already bring it up like 7 times. It's really impactful your first viewing, where it's like, "Wow, 10 seconds. Why am I following some child in New York? I just sunk a boat in the Atlantic Ocean. Like I don't know what's happening."
I remember that.
Yeah, see, Sam remembers. So yeah,
South America.
Okay, so now we're on to Joey Joestar,
Joseph Joestar.
the grandson. So, like, this is the baby of baby.
Yes.
Who's the baby?
Not important.
So
He really did nothing with his life.
if we want to,
Was
master.
his name like Frank Joestar or something?
Yeah, doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
what was his? George Joestar. George Joestar.
Is it
Geo
though?
Jojo.
He's not
Go-go?
a main character, so it doesn't have to be a JoJo.
Go.
Recurring though.
He gets brought up like twice in part
He's just
2,
a
and
minor.
that's
He
about
doesn't
it.
really matter.
He gets brought up once as like, "Oh, my dad isn't around anymore. He died in the war." And then later on, there's a flashback to how he died in the war, because it's relevant to the plot.
Was it brave?
I'm gonna say yes, because I don't know what I would do in that situation.
What was it?
Do you want me to tell you now and spoil it, or do you
No.
want us to get there?
Let's get there.
See, Dom wants to get there.
Yeah.
Dom wants to get out of episode 1 hell.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
So
hear it.
he's Joseph Joestar. He invites the child who just pickpocketed him, and then he had to fight cops to protect him. Invites him to dinner with his granny, his grandmother Irina, who is still alive.
100 years later or
Oh, okay.
something.
Yeah.
50. So she's
Okay.
like in her 70s
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
valid.
It's a reasonable
Yeah.
age to be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So they're at dinner, and Joestar's very rich. It's a very wealthy family from Great Britain. So Irina very well off, and they're going to dinner at this fancy restaurant. But Joseph is kind of a hothead, He's like 19, and he's like kind of crude and crass, and then somebody in the
But a heart of
restaurant,
gold.
heart of gold, absolute heart of gold. They all have hearts of gold.
But
Sweetheart.
rips ass at dinner or something.
Guilty.
For Scott's mental image, we'll say yes. Joseph farts, and then
That's
a
awesome.
guy behind him starts yelling about like, "Hey man, I'm trying to have a nice dinner here."
Doorknob.
And then he starts like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you up, man. I'm gonna fight you." And then Joseph plays some mind games with him. He's like, "Oh, I see you've got like, oh, what, are you gonna use your brass knuckles on me?" As he's pulling them out, he's like, "What? Like, how did you know?" And he's like, "Oh, it's clear." And then he like just does this hyper analytical kind of skills. He saw like blood stains on the outside of the shirt that were over here. So it's like, oh, it's clear you beat somebody up, and that pattern tells me there were spikes, so you got spiked knuckles or something. And then
Sure.
I forget what he says exactly, but it's something along the lines of, and next you'll say, like, how did you know that? And then the guy's, despite hearing him say that, says, how did you know that? And then he, like, does, like, a stinger where it closes up to his eyes, and he's like, what? And that happens, like, 6 more times.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sounds like a Sherlock Holmes kind of guy.
Yeah, a little bit.
He
Little
is
Sherlock
this-
Holmesy.
So, Jonathan was basically just a good guy meathead. Like, he's a good guy, but he's not, like, the sharpest tool in the shed, and, like, he just means well. And then Joseph, he's more kind of edgy, but he's very smart.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it.
Yeah. He's very
I'm
smart.
impressed.
Edgy.
So,
Ripping
Joseph...
ass at dinner and stuff. Yeah.
Joseph, after again for Scott, farting on this man, beats the shit out of him.
That's so cool.
And Granny Arena is all for it. She's like, I don't like when you make a mess, but this guy's got it coming. So she gives him the green light to just whoop some dinner goer
Didn't
ass.
this guy just tell him to pipe down?
I forget. I think there was something a little more to it, and I think there was like
He was ripping ass during dinner too.
like the guy was being like rude or something, and Joseph was just being a little like sloppy, like he was like missing his fucking mouth with the spaghetti or something.
Huh.
So
All right.
I forget exactly.
Either way, little dinner altercation. Okay.
Little dinner fiasco.
Sure.
It happens.
Yeah.
Happens.
But it shows his smartness and his strength.
But yes, it shows his smartness and it shows his strength.
Yeah.
Does his sloppiness come into play soon?
It comes into play off and on throughout the whole part.
Does his love for spaghetti come into play?
No.
Okay.
What does he not love? Dio?
He does not know who Dio is.
Really?
Yep.
He just
Died
doesn't.
50 years ago.
Yeah, well, he doesn't.
Arena even talks about like how you remind me so much of your grandfather.
Dio?
And then Jonathan.
That would be a crazy reveal, wouldn't it?
Oh man, that'd be so crazy if
Dio was the grandfather.
Dio's descendants played a factor later in the series.
It'd be pretty wild.
That'd be nuts.
Dio, Dom.
Dio.
Yeah.
He's one of the adopted kids.
He
was
is
in
the
the first-
adopted kid. He's the bad guy.
thought there
Bad
was
guy
two of
part
them.
1.
So like, you ever see the movie The Good Son starring Macaulay Culkin?
I've seen Good
You
Burger.
talking about Home Alone?
Yeah, but like The Good Son is like an R-rated movie starring Macaulay Culkin, where like
Same era as Home Alone. Like
Yeah.
Child Macaulay Culkin.
where like he is the son of this mother, but then like I think like the mom's
Incredible.
sister,
There's so much.
the
love
mom's
into it.
sister
I don't know what.
dies, so she takes over. Like she takes custody of like her kid or something, and like her nephew is a good boy, but Macaulay Culkin is this mom's biological son, and he's evil.
Okay.
He's bad. So at the end, Macaulay Culkin dies. They're both hanging from a cliff or something, so she has to pick.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she has to pick either her evil biological son or her nice nephew, who is now her adopted son.
And she picked
Wow.
the nephew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Damn.
Yeah, pound it.
What would have
Alright.
Robert E.
Back at the
Speedwagon
dinner
done?
party. Yeah.
Well, what does Robert E. Speedwagon think?
So
What does he think?
you know what? We're actually getting to
Let's
it
go!
right
Come on,
now.
let's get to
Right
it.
now, we finally made it to the 5th minute of episode 1.
Yeah.
So, boom, Joseph beats the shit out of the dude. Whatever. Cut to Robert E.O. Speedwagon and Straightso from part 1.
Straightso is
That is his name. Straightso. It is. He's not.
You never mentioned this man.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I believe.
Straight so.
I believe when I brought him up, I said, "Ooh, this guy looks inviting. I really hope he doesn't betray us right at the beginning of part 2." So here we
Okay,
are at
what's
the
gonna happen
beginning
here
of
then?
part 2.
All right.
Straightso, one of the random people who helped Jonathan along the way, randomly super late for one fight,
Okay.
and didn't get himself killed like the Thundercross split attack guy.
Oh, legendary.
Oh,
That
that
guy-
was in part 1?
You
Yeah, that guy
fool.
died.
How'd he die?
He went to do the Thundercross split attack,
Yeah.
and he's like, nobody can avoid this, and then the Dio avoids it and kills the shit out of him
Oh.
in about a second and a half.
Oh, that sucks.
That move got used twice, neither time it worked.
But
Rats.
what does Robert E.O. Speedwagon think?
Robert E.O. Speedwagon is horrified at the moment because he and Straightso are looking at this absolute monolith, a stone pillar older than time, that has the same stone mask.
It's a big stone. It's just a giant rock.
Basically, yeah.
all
A massive stone that has what looks like a man inside of it wearing the same mask that created the Dio vampire 50 years earlier.
Oh, he got created by a mask?
Yeah, the stone mask that he
Okay.
puts on and
Oh,
turns
yeah,
into a
yeah,
vampire.
yeah.
Jim Carrey mask.
Oh, the mask.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember-
It's
I remember
just
that
like
film,
just
yeah.
like the mask starring Jim Carrey.
Son of
Face
Mask
off.
too.
So
Don't forget Son of Mask.
so here we are.
Don't forget that.
Here we are back in South America. All we knew about the
Brazil?
original stone mask.
Uruguay?
Rio.
It might
you ever
be
see the movie Rio? The birds.
It might be Central America.
Peru?
Aztecs. Where the Aztecs
Chile?
were from.
Colombia?
Is that South America or Central America?
Eric, just keep
I
going.
would guess Central, but that's not confident.
Yeah, that's in that like
Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
kind of like just south of the equator kind of area.
Oh, okay.
Paraguay.
Because all we knew about the original stone mask was it was an Aztec artifact. That's all we knew about it 50 years ago. But now here
Venezuela.
we are back, and there is a man in Iraq wearing the mask. Not in Iraq, but like
And not The Rock, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, right?
The man in The Rock, not the guy fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The guy fucking it?
The guy.
There's a guy fucking Dwayne? I'm lost now.
The man in the pillar, who I'm going to call the Pillar Man, because
That makes sense.
Clever.
that's what he gets called for the rest of the part. So
Okay, Pillar
they're
Man.
like,
Okay, so you're like, I'm gonna call him then. Which is what he's called.
which is
That's
what they
my
call
name for him.
you go whatever you want, but I call this as well as the rest of the show.
that's one of the things that's kind of funny to me, because like they basically make
have
up this
names?
name to describe what they're looking at. A man in a pillar. He's the Pillar Man.
So how did they come up with
That
straight
makes
so?
That was, I believe, a family name. That's why Straight So is named Straight So, unlike the guy in The Rock. But yeah, like they just call him that because that's what they see.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
The man in the pillar.
Keep going, keep
That's
going.
fine.
But later on, when they awaken, they also call themselves Pillar Men, which makes less sense because they weren't in pillars. Anyway, so yeah, stone mask. Oh no, like this is we must destroy it. Like Robert E.O. Speedwagon's like, yes, let's break this mask, end the cursed reign of the vampires.
I just feel whenever you say his full name, you're just mentally thinking, God, I'm so proud of him. I love Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
Robert E.O. Speedwagon is truly a national treasure. He is somebody in the hearts and minds of all of us. And I think we could all stand to be just like this guy who was a random street thug who turned into good guy ally, who turned into just a good guy, who died a very rich man.
I'd vote for him.
He had a good life.
That he did. That he
All
did.
right.
All right,
well,
so Pillar Men.
So yes, there's a Pillar Man in front of us, and they have the mask. They took it off of him, and they still see the man's face underneath. And Robert is like, "Oh my God, we need to destroy this mask." But Straightso's like, And so Speedwagons decides like, hey, what are you talking about? Like, of course we need to destroy it. The vampires are a problem. Like, we gotta end this. This thing makes vampires. Break the thing. Vampires gone. Problem solved. So Straightso then goes on a little spiel about how he doesn't like how his body is failing him because he's getting a little older now. He's like in his 60s, 70s, somewhere like that. And he's
so
like,
he
wow.
so he wants to become a vampire.
He, of his own volition, stabs Speedwagon, rubs Speedwagon's blood on the mask to activate it, turning Straightso into our second vampire.
Whoa!
And
Dio's back.
Yeah, but it's Straightso now.
Why
Think
did he need
black-haired Dio,
rub
basically,
blood on the mask?
to activate it.
You need
Why could it be
blood.
his blood?
Um,
Because that would hurt. He probably just wanted free blood from someone else.
Easier to do it that way.
Well, I mean, you want to
If,
become a vampire, start early.
if memory serves, it's like part of the ritual is like you've got to spill blood.
someone else's.
Right.
Technically, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, so like, because
All
you're
right.
about to be a vampire, so you need to take more blood.
Yeah.
And you
but-
gotta
okay.
you gotta do it as
Yeah.
a person. Yeah, something
Sure.
like that.
Fine.
So bam, Straightso,
enough.
vampire, Speedwagon, bleeding out in Central or
No!
South America. Oh no, I
Venezuela.
hope he's okay. He is.
Oh, thank God.
He is. He survives.
How?
Yes. So, back to New
Modern
York.
medicine.
Back to New York. Joseph is
Thank you,
doing some stuff. I don't know. He is out late, and then he heard the story about Dio, but without name dropping Dio. Because
Is the one kid still with him that he tried to pickpocket him?
Yes.
Okay.
What about Dio's lackeys?
Dio's lackeys were not seen again after the first episode.
They get like jobs or something?
Probably.
Have a family?
I'm
We
sure.
turned it around.
Menards
I'm
or something
sure.
maybe?
Yeah, you know there's plenty of people out there. You know, we're kind of little ignorant shitheads as
Yeah.
children and grew into good enough adults.
Yeah.
You know, we're fine.
But, I mean, like, they were lackeys on Dio, the most powerful vampire of all time.
At the time, though, Dio was just like king punk ass bitch. Like
They have a king for that?
Yeah, he was just like the head honcho of being a punk bitch kid. Like,
pretty sweet.
That was Dio.
That's pretty sweet.
That's fair.
So at the time,
That's
it was
fair.
just like, oh yeah, whatever. It's like, oh, king punk bitch, and then it's like the Jesters of punk bitch.
A business
Like
card with that on it, or?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
official.
Would you say there's,
Sweet.
like, maybe, like pants you could buy with Dio's name on the ass or something?
I'm sure.
King on
I'm
the left,
sh-
punk ass bitch on the right.
All right, I don't know if there's one that says king punk ass bitch.
You can
There's
split up
probably
any way,
one that
really.
says Dio. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is the I right in the...
I would have to be right. It's in the middle of the word. It's in the
It
middle
is,
of
and
your
it's
ass.
a little off center.
look weirder properly for
It's a
the...
bad print job if it's
I know
not.
this sounds bad, but it would be weirder if it wasn't like that.
There's no winning there, really.
So
We
Joseph,
got a new vampire. And
new
Joseph,
vampire.
New
Joseph
vampire lock.
is going like
Joseph is walking through New York City at night. He's just
Cool.
kind of doing something. He was doing something I don't remember. Can you tell it's been a while since I watched part 2?
Same.
And I had just rewatched all of Jojo about 3 weeks before the
You
last time we did
rewatched
this.
all this?
Multiple times.
Do you watch anything else?
Dominic, you don't watch anything new. You rewatch
This
the
is-
same things over and over.
Yeah, but they're not. Oh, take a week long.
I
Just
mean,
like a TV show, like...
yeah,
It's
you
a
know,
long TV show.
Yeah, and
This
especially
is just
when you
comfort
know,
food, you know.
especially when you know like everything. It's just kind of like I don't need to be like fixated, focused the whole
Oh.
time. Like I can
You
just
throw it
kind
on
of
the back?
throw it on the background, kind of like tune in for like the exciting moments or like
Yeah.
occasionally you'll catch something you missed the first time around or something. It's like
Okay.
that was happening.
It's not that wild.
Just seems like a long series.
it's not
to
that wild, I think.
Rewatch.
It's honestly not that bad. It keeps getting worse because the anime keeps coming out.
Yeah, they keep
so
making
like
more of
so
it
more
still, so-
episodes keep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 5 minutes into season part 2.
We're like 10 minutes in at this
Okay,
point.
Ooh,
We're,
that's
like,
fair.
Okay.
we're either halfway through or maybe even through the first episode at this point.
All right.
I can't give you a distinct breakdown of exactly when each little bit happens on this one.
So all that happened the first episode was like the alleyway thing, the
And
dinner
I-
thing, and then the Speedwagon thing.
I believe so.
That's
I'm
it,
pretty,
basically?
I'm pretty sure that episode ends
kinda
with
a lot. That's-
Speedwagon bleeding out and Straitso becoming a vampire.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
But yeah, Joseph is in New York. It's late at night, and he thinks he sees something. He thinks he sees Straitso, but impossible because
get there? How'd he get there?
this man looks 20. Like this
Yeah.
man looks young.
And if-
Straitso was friends with my grandfather.
Getting a
He's
flight,
old,
getting a flight that quickly would be tough too. Right?
especially in the 30s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vampires,
They can travel fast,
they can do a lot,
Take a
except
boat then, or?
turn into a bat.
right? Because they don't need to. They can shoot laser beams out of their eyes. They've got like ice breath.
Did he come by boat?
Superhuman strength.
Does it say they're vampires? Or that's what we're calling them.
They're straight up vampires.
Okay.
That's what they call them.
Okay.
They do have the fangs, but they
Gotcha.
don't use the fangs. They use their fingers.
Gotcha.
They also have red eyes, like
You know,
that. Yeah,
fine.
that is
Yeah, that-
consistent.
you know.
Yeah, that tracks enough for me.
Vampire has red eyes. I'm not
Yeah.
calling. I'm not saying that's
That
weird.
tracks enough for me personally.
Not calling shenanigans on a red-eyed vampire.
That
No.
makes sense to me.
That's
you know,
valid.
Evil blade.
Yeah.
Blee.
Yeah.
Where else is the blood gonna go?
That's a good point.
Where does the blood go? In their digestive system, or
Probably.
in their bloodstream, or in their eyes? You know.
Probably a bit of everywhere, really, honestly.
So what?
Wherever it's needed.
What is he powered by blood? Does he need to get blood and then it makes him all powerful, or like what's the deal?
I believe it's typical vampire rules where it's like you've got this super strength or these extra powers or whatever, but you need to suck blood to like keep going.
Grass is
Otherwise-
always greener.
Yeah, as long as you've got fresh blood coming, you're immortal. Like I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, you know, it comes and goes. Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So anyway, Straight So made it to America somehow very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By boat, I'm
And
guessing.
Probably. So Joseph sees a man who looks like Straight So, but if he were 50 years younger. And he's like, well, that's weird. And then the guy starts following him, and then they start talking. Find out this is in fact Straight So. And he, at the time, believed he killed Robert E.O. Speedwagon. And he's like, no, Uncle Speedwagon! And then he starts a fight.
Is Speedwagon really his uncle?
Family friends.
Okay.
Alright.
Family friends.
Uncle Speedwagon. Uncle Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
Although
Still just full named.
there is a joke where Joseph gets slapped by Granny Arena, where he insinuates that Speedwagon and his grandma are like hooking up, and then he gets slapped. So it's
Okay.
like, but it's not confirmed or denied.
Okay.
So
By the-
Grandma Arena, she
Okay.
never remarried. She never
That
looked
is
into anybody
that is
else.
the story they're going with, but I wouldn't be surprised if she and Speedwagon shared a lonely night.
Any reason, or is this a fan
They
theory?
spent they
It's a fan fiction of
They've
yours.
known
Just
each
what he
other
wants
for
to believe.
over 50 years. They've been very good, close friends the whole time. Yeah,
I mean,
something
that-
might have happened.
Yeah.
You can say that about literally anything
I wasn't there
in
the whole
any
time.
fiction.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, we
follow
don't
along.
hear, we don't hear everything. Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
Sure, there's little
The
things
whole
going
life's
on.
not
But
broadcast.
you never
Yeah, what
you
was-
never
yeah,
read
what
the
was-
light novel.
Yeah, what like so this is happening in the 30s in New York. What was happening during the Straight So and Joseph fight in Cleveland?
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
Something's
There's a
gonna
New
happen.
York. There's probably a Cleveland.
Okay.
Doesn't get mentioned.
Okay.
I'm sure it's full of people.
I'm sure
might
too.
even be a vampire there. Who knows?
Yeah, that sounds great.
There might be a vampire there right now.
All right, Eric, I haven't really heard what you said for the past like 20 seconds, so I've just been saying yeah.
Good.
Let's move on.
So, bam. Now Joseph and Straight So, the new vampire, are fighting. And Straight So is billed in this moment to be very much just Dio again. Like, he's got all the vampire powers. He can do all this stuff. Later on, it's kind of retcons that Dio is actually, like, always, like, a super vampire. But for the moment, it's just vampire, just like Dio. Haha. So, they start fighting. And then Joseph's punches are missing, even though he's going super fast. And, like, when he does make contact, it'll rough him up, but it'll just instantly heal. Like, he's like, I can't do anything. So Joseph whips out a Tommy gun from seemingly nowhere and shoots the ever-loving crap out of Straight So. Like, bullets hell flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that ought to do it. And then Straight So laughs and gets up, still with bullet holes that are healing as he's talking to Joseph. He's like, you thought that would work. And then Joseph's like, no, but this one will. And then he's like, what? And that's when he looks down and he had grenades set on Straight So. So when he goes to get up, it pulls the pins, and then now there's like 10 grenades that just, boom, blows Straight So completely naked. Doesn't really
Kill him.
hurt him or kill him or anything.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he's
all his
hurt.
clothes are gone.
He's
Yeah.
hurt, but he's more naked than hurt at this point.
Okay.
So at this point, he realizes, oh crap, like I underestimated Joseph. Like I thought this was just gonna be some punk ass little kid that he was just kind of fighting because he was Joseph to Straight So is the last person who knows Hamon, which is the only thing that can really defeat a vampire besides sunlight. So
I
he's
was
like, if
when
if
you said
I-
something about you said like 10 something. I thought you were gonna say like Straight So was blown into 10 different little Straight So's. Like it's like germs or something.
If this same battle happened in like part 8, that's probably what would have happened.
Yeah.
Blown up by grenades, boom. Oh, now there's 10 of us, but we're smaller.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
That'd be funny.
but-
So Straight So tries to flee to make like a game plan, you know, like he's got to figure out what to do to beat Joseph.
Wait, so why? What? I'm sorry, Eric.
I feel like
you're
Straight So
gonna-
could. I feel like Straight So could easily beat him.
Yeah. What does Jojo have that?
He's been obviously
He's-
nothing's worked so far.
So he has
Why does he have to kill Jojo?
because Jojo is the last
Last
in
threat.
Straight So's mind, he's the last person who knows Hamon.
Yeah.
Like how do you like Joseph doesn't know this yet, but the way he shot that bottle rocket was with Hamon. He channeled it through the bottle and it shot the cap off like a bullet. So
okay.
he's like
Is there
a
any-
latent user. Like
Okay.
he
All right.
knows.
All right.
He knows by instinct because his grandfather was a master.
Yeah.
He knows by instinct how to use
Like
it.
the Force or
He just
whatever.
doesn't
He
understand.
doesn't
it yet.
know sunshine karate magic.
Exactly. See, Dominic's paying attention.
Grass
Why
always
can't
greener.
he learn that though?
Oh, he can.
He does. He does know it. He knows right now.
Yeah, he can. He
He's
can
like the
learn.
Force
He just
just within
doesn't
or
know
whatever.
like how to use it.
Or like,
Per
why
se.
can't everyone else learn that?
It's like an ancient art form.
There's
The
no teachers,
the
there's
random
no teachers.
Italian,
Out there.
the random
Yeah.
Italian named William Zappelli, and I'm saying his name for no particular reason. It's not going to come up later.
Forget it. Forget about the name.
Is
Yeah.
I appreciate
When he brings
that,
it up in 45 minutes, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
Wait
go,
a minute!
William Zappelli.
so
That's the last
that
random
random
teacher.
Italian guy was one of the few remaining Hamon like masters. Like there was him.
He
there
died,
was
right?
Yes,
Wait, is
William
Hamon and
Zappelli
Sunshine
did die in
Magic the
part
same?
1.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were two different things.
I think it is.
Yeah, Hamon is the Sunshine Karate
Oh, I
Magic.
thought it was two separate.
Sunshine Karate Magic is a loose description of what Hamon is.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought it was
Yeah.
two separate fighting types.
No, but that would be kind of funny.
Kind of.
Kind
be the
of
joke.
Not even. Not
That
even
would-
pure fun.
What would be the
That'd
joke
Not
there?
even
that'd be
pure
kinda
comedy.
Fun. That'd be kind of fun.
How would it be
So
fun?
yes, back in the 1880s, there was like 5 people who knew Hamon in the whole world, and it's been 50 years. Most of those people didn't survive the Dio fight, so now it's basically just Joseph.
Do you think like Lincoln knew
knows it.
Hamon?
There's a chance. There's a chance he was at least briefed on it as a concept. He may not have chosen to take that route himself,
Yeah.
because admittedly, I don't think Hamon would bring an end to the Civil War, which I think was his main focus.
Yeah.
That's where.
Yeah.
But
What
I'd
are you
agree.
saying? It wouldn't end the Civil War. I feel like it would.
It helped. It'd probably help a little bit at least. Yeah.
Probably
I
help
mean,
a lot.
it's definitely more useful than a musket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
probably
Yeah.
That's probably fair. Like it's shorter range, yes, but like
More powerful.
it's gonna do way more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing with muskets, it's not the bullet that kills you; it's the infection 6 days later, or the trench foot you got marching to the battle.
Sure.
Where you didn't get hurt, but you
Why-
died from infection,
Yeah.
I'm just.
Or the base camp.
or at the base
about- what
camp
about
where
Yeah.
you're
George?
waiting.
What about
Yeah.
George Joestar?
George Joestar is the son of Jonathan Joestar,
Well, he
and
had
he died in
he
the
knowed Hamon,
war.
right?
No, he did not.
What?
Hamon
How not?
as a concept was Hamon as a concept. Arena thought was dangerous. She thought it was part of the reason why she lost Jonathan so early, because ultimately, really, if he had never learned Hamon,
Dio wouldn't care.
he
Right.
Dio would have won,
Yeah.
but Jonathan would still be alive. Like they
Yeah, but
probably
the
would
world
have.
would probably be over as we know it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There'd most assuredly be a new world order at this point.
Yeah,
but
run by vampires.
She still holds in her mind this like grudge against the concept, so she didn't
Yeah.
want her son learning it.
Okay.
So he was kept completely in the dark that
I gotta be
vampires are
honest,
real.
that's a
Hamon
little-
is a thing.
That's a little selfish, don't you think, Eric?
Yeah, a
a
little,
little
bit, right? Yeah.
So
I'm on.
Joseph,
I don't. I'm not a fan.
Not Team Arena?
Joseph.
I mean, like that's going a little too far right now. I'm just saying that I don't agree with
Don't
her.
say things you'll regret later.
Yeah, I don't agree with her opinion there.
Yeah. Okay.
How about
I'm
that?
with. Yeah. I think you're right there. I think you're on the
What
head.
about you, Eric? Do you agree?
I mean, admittedly, in this context, we think we killed the only vampire on Earth. What's the point in using Hamon, the one thing that would defeat a vampire?
Could be useful.
It might be.
Might be another Civil War or something later.
Well, it's
Kinda-
obviously going to be useful
it's,
here.
It's kind of like the woodcutting axe I bought because it was marked down to like $6. I haven't used it. I don't plan on using it. But if I ever need to use a woodcutting axe,
Use one.
You'll have it.
I'd have to pay way more than $6.
That is true, Eric.
So I bought the axe.
Grass is
That-
always greener.
See, Sam's getting my point. Dominic's understanding. Scott, what's your excuse? Why are you not with the program yet?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I'm following this generally, but it just kind of seems like, here comes Dio again. It just
It's
kind
not-
of seems
it's straight,
like
so not Dio.
This is
Yeah,
straight
straight so.
so. This
No,
is
I'm
straight
saying
so.
it's
It's
pretty
a
much
different
just
person.
it
Different
feels
vampire.
like just a retelling of. It just feels like
No.
here comes part one again. It
Not
just
at
feels
all.
like it
This is
retells the
this
same
is
Not
the
at
kind of
all.
second
situation.
episode. This is the first fight, really, besides Cops and Guy and Diner.
It's definitely different.
So it's
Yeah.
like
I'm not saying it's not different. I'm just saying it just kind of feels
I mean,
like
that's kind of
it's-
like what every
if you want
show
to think,
is.
gonna-
if you want to think from theme and pacing, we're basically at the final boss of part 1, and like the second episode of part 2. Obviously, we're like 2 episodes in, so Joseph's not fucking losing this battle. Like, he's just not.
It's too early.
So that means we defeat this guy.
Yes.
And the threat only grows from there. Have you thought about that Pillar Man? Have you thought about like what this guy
Not really,
etched
'cause the mask was
into a
taken.
column, and he was wearing the mask.
But it was taken from him.
But how long was he wearing the mask? What
He might be a vampire too.
is this guy? Is he a vampire? Is he something more?
Well, if you
A
lose the
vampire
mask,
creator.
well, if you lose the
I
mask,
never
do you
thought about
lose
it
the
that way,
powers?
Eric.
See?
No, I don't think
See?
so.
Vampires prey on humans. What preys on vampires?
Is that
Frankenstein.
Can I get multiple choices?
Yes. Try to guess it. Try to guess it.
The multiple choices.
I'll give you the
Mummies.
I'll give it to you in
The sun gods.
in the
Wolfman.
terms of the sunshine karate magic, using easy to understand words to describe concept. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So our options are flying wolfmen,
Okay.
All right.
I think it's that.
No,
At
it's
least I
not.
don't think
the
so.
pen, because they say the pen is mightier than the sword.
Okay.
They do say that. They do say that.
Aztec stripper gods.
Oh, it's.
Oh, it's that one.
It's
He
that
said
one. It's
that
that one.
before.
I
He
remember
said
that
that
one.
before.
I actually remember that one. He asked that one.
He has said that before.
Yes,
I know
the-
it's
Yeah, it's that one. I forgot
Yeah,
about
the
that.
answer is in fact Aztec stripper gods.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Scott's starting to be all like, "Oh, yo, this is just Dio again." Dio was not
There
four
was not.
gods.
Yeah, there was not those in the first part. I
The
I
Aztec
believe.
stripper gods.
So,
Yep.
are we even at that part, or are we jumping ahead?
We are jumping ahead significantly.
All right, let's
Cool.
go back.
Cool.
So
Where
going
we were.
back to Straitzo, not Dio. Yes, he is now naked on a bridge. Joseph ran
New
up
York
to
still,
him,
or-
and during the runaway, Straitzo
Is the Statue of Liberty there?
I think we definitely got it by 1930s. Where
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
it by now.
we would have had it. We would have had it by then.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's somewhere. It's not in the foreground, but it's.
Is there a
it's
Central Park
probably there.
shot?
Central Perk or Central Park?
Either one, really.
They're probably both there.
yeah.
I'd imagine Central Perk was around in the 30s.
All right.
It's the cafe from Friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Okay.
Why
so
did
naked on a
Arena
bridge.
move here?
If memory serves,
Stumped.
a lot of bad memories in Britain, because it was almost overtaken by a single vampire,
Yeah.
and
Fair.
her husband
moved.
New
died.
York, New York.
Her husband died
The Big
there,
Apple. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
and
The
they
Big
were
Apple.
I'm walking
and they
Yeah.
were actively going to America for the honeymoon. She probably figured, I'm just staying here.
Okay.
Fair. All right, Eric, move on.
Naked on a bridge.
So yes, Straitzo, naked on a bridge. While he was running away, he found a random stranger, and he's holding her over like, haha, Joseph, I'm gonna kill this woman if you don't stop fighting me. Because, he knows. He knew how to deal with Jonathan.
Heart of
He knows-
gold.
He knows how to deal with Joseph.
Heart of
Guy's got a
gold.
heart of gold.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let him just kill some innocent woman.
No.
He's gotta protect her at all
Moral
costs.
compass.
And that means Straitzo can get away.
Right.
Straitzo doesn't. Joseph wins, and the
Oh.
woman is just like a little scuffed up. Like that's about
Did he
it.
drop her?
I want to. Damn, it's been a hot minute since I watched part 2. Really should have rewatched.
What do you think? What did you guess happened?
If memory serves, he
you
goes.
guess?
He goes.
What would
to-
you do?
He drops her. He drops her.
If
But
you
then
were
Joseph,
Straitzo.
Joseph runs, catches, and then
Like Superman?
yes.
Can he
Minus
fly?
the flying.
Yeah,
Can he
can fly,
can he
He's like
spin
the Flash.
around the world so fast and backwards that time reverses?
Time reverses.
Yeah.
No.
Almost.
Also,
though.
for
Thought
all
about it.
of for all of the
Almost had it.
for all of the time powers, there's really only one that rewinds time at all.
Does that involve turtles by chance?
No, but a stopwatch,
Okay.
which
I thought that was turtles for some reason.
which the stopwatch for the rewind time guy is, I think more just for him.
Gimmick? Yeah.
It's more for him. Like he doesn't need it to activate his power. He just chooses to do it like that. If I remember, that's part 7, by the way.
If
We're in
you
part
okay.
2.
Okay.
That's parts.
All right. So
Part
so he doesn't get away.
Yes, doesn't get away.
Yeah.
Straitzo is vanquished by the morning sun.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, and Joseph kind of figured out how to use his Hamon
Wow.
during the fight. Like he kind of figured out how to
this still
charge
like
his
episode
fist
2?
and everything. Yeah.
Jeez.
Like he's still a novice. He's still very inexperienced with it.
But we got straight so.
But yeah, we got Straight So defeated. So
Yeah.
Joseph
Is he dead
at
or like
19,
just like
completely dead? We will never be hearing from Straight So again.
for real or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's
Wow.
no coming back for Straight So.
Damn.
Straight So gets mentioned later, but more as like I can't believe he
RP.
betrayed us kind,
Right.
of, kind
Okay.
of thing.
That's
All right.
Like you
Did
never
he do
you didn't-
much damage at all?
Not really, right?
He
Um,
killed. What's the guy's
No,
name?
he didn't. He didn't even kill him. He's not even dead.
Right,
Um,
he stabbed
he thought he killed him.
Speedwagon. Thought he killed
Speedwagon.
him, but didn't.
Speedwagon's
Didn't
why I
kill
killed
him.
him.
Speedwagon's been through far worse though, right?
Oh, absolutely. He grew up on Ogre Street. Remember
Oh,
the roughest, toughest part
Yeah.
of London in the
Britain, yeah.
1800s.
Yeah, so
apparently.
just getting
Yeah.
stabbed by Straight, so I feel like he's
I mean, he was old at that point, so that might have.
yeah, man.
And
Okay.
some. I feel like you'd take a knife a lot worse at 80 than you would at like 17.
probably.
Maybe.
Likely. Yeah,
Well,
likely.
You're
Actually,
a nurse,
it
Dom.
probably- yeah,
what do
yeah,
you
Dom-
think?
Dominic, in your
I feel like
professional
younger
opinion,
people heal quicker than older people.
Yeah.
So
Pound it.
would like where they get stabbed matter? Like say you stab
Definitely.
I
say you
assume
stab
so,
an
yeah.
80-year-old person in the,
The calf's
arm,
probably a lot better
but you
than the heart.
you stab a 17-year-old in the heart.
like I was
which
assuming it was
one's
stabbed
doing
in
more
the same
damage?
area, but
Ah.
yes, that would matter.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen for the rest of the season?
Aztec stripper gods.
the Pillar Man?
You
The
forgot
man
about
in
it,
the
didn't you?
pillar.
And the pillar man.
Oh,
They were,
I
yeah.
all forgot
got-
about him. Aaron
Yeah.
told me not
He
to.
was so hyper focused on. Oh, this is just Dio.
They almost got away too.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
No, Eric. We'll
All
keep
right.
talking.
Yeah, keep going. So
Yes. So here we are. Straight So is defeated. There is like
There's a turtle
there's
somewhere.
a there's a call to action. There's a call to action.
Like the mayor,
somehow. So Joseph goes down to investigate.
South America.
Yes, he goes down there to investigate the Pillar Man.
Probably the
and,
World
like,
Cup.
that
in
kind of thing.
1930.
However, he gets there, and it has been acquired by the Germans.
The mask.
The Pillar Man.
The pillar man has been
Oh,
acquired
so
by
they-
them.
The Pillar Man has been acquired by them.
Okay.
They
like an
excavated.
acquisition, like
They excavated the entire
like
pillar
Xbox
that he's a
bought
part of, and they
Activision,
they
the Germans
put
bought
a,
the Pillarmen.
They put an observation
more.
area around it, and they're trying to figure out what to do.
Okay.
That's when it's revealed Speedwagon is still alive. Yes. And as the one
Is that what
guy,
you say whenever that scene happens?
oh thank God. Uncle Speedwagon. And since
Wait, what's a question you ask him?
what's the question I would ask Speedwagon?
Yeah, if you met Speedwagon,
I would say
you ask if he did,
If you to Arena or whatever.
if he is Joseph's.
I would
dad.
ask for his advice on how to start a foundation.
Is he good at that?
The Speedwagon. Okay, slight spoiler. I
That's
guess.
fine. You can rip it off.
He Speedwagon dies at the end of part 2, but
Yeah.
of old age in the epilogue.
Okay.
So he lived a long, full,
Yeah.
happy life.
Is
that
the
for him.
epilogue
Um,
like at the end of like a college movie or something where they just freeze frame on a picture of him and
And
it just
says
it
like
has
they
dead.
text.
Everywhere you
Dead
Where are
old
they
age.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead.
So yeah, apparently, if I remember correctly, he died in the 1950s of old age.
That's
Okay.
that's a good
Nice job, Speedwagon.
So
that's a good
Speedwagon,
that's a good tenure.
Speedwagon, dead in the 1950s.
Alive now. though.
Part 3 starts in the 1980s. The Speedwagon Foundation is a major player. Part 4 features, which takes place in like the late 90s, the bizarre summer of 1999 to be specific. Speedwagon Foundation is relevant there. Speedwagon Foundation in Part 5, which takes place in the early 2000s, does not really play much of a factor.
What
but
do they
it's there.
fund?
And then
I
there
haven't been
is-
listening at all.
in part 6, which takes place in 2011, the Speedwagon Foundation, major player once again.
It's a charity.
What do they do?
They
It's like an animal sanctuary, I think.
Oh.
I think
Interesting. Is that true?
it started out as like an oil industry,
I was
I
way
think, and then it became
Oil charity.
a secret society,
Oil for the poor.
a secret society dedicated to supernatural research.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they're
Vampires.
Vampires now stands later.
All right.
Let's get back to this pillar man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Pillar Man.
so Pillar Man, they bring out Speedwagon because he's the only person who seems to have any idea what the fuck is going on. Mainly because Straightso's dead at this point, and yeah. So he's like, okay, I don't know exactly what that is, but I know what that mask that he was wearing does, and it's dangerous. It creates vampires, blah blah blah. The Nazis see that, and they think, oh, I can create this super weapon with it. So they want to create an army of vampire soldiers. So they need to learn how to activate the mask, and they force information out of Speedwagon to see how to activate the mask.
Okay.
So they figure, if this guy was wearing the mask and he's etched in stone, good chance he's a vampire, right?
Sure.
I'm sure that's all he is. He's just a vampire who's solidified, right? That
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's true.
So they decide
On a true story?
They-
That actually happened.
I believe they put blood on him,
Some
or
of
they
it.
awaken him somehow, and he is born. He comes out of the pillar.
Pillar Man is? Okay.
Yep, and he's wearing like basically a loincloth, and that's it. And that's
Nikes?
Nope, just a loincloth, and that's about how most of the Pillar Men dress for the rest of the season.
Okay.
A little bit more decoration. Like one of them wears a scarf. One of them's got like shoulder pads.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
They're all like
Okay.
7, 8, 9 foot tall, something like
Oh.
that, and
Ah, big.
they're all even
That's
buffer
large.
than the already absolute beefcakes of players that the Joestars are.
Epic.
Yeah, so Joseph comes into the complex, to try and, because he wants to save Speedwagon, and he wants to prevent that thing, whatever the hell it is, from waking up.
Yeah.
At this point, he's gotten a little bit better with Hamon, but he's still not trained on it.
And he knows
He's-
what it is, though.
And he is aware of what it is. And he is fully aware of what Hamon is at this point.
Okay.
So, bada bing, bada boom, Pillar Man awakens, and he is, like, very
Pissed?
flexible. He's like, it's like he has no bones. It is
Oh.
a boneless Pillar Man from the looks of it, because of the way he can move.
He's just like a
Snake.
And
Like a
he-
gooey snake.
He cannot speak, but they try to feed him to see, like, what he does, like how he...
He
you
has
know,
a mouth?
What do they do? Yeah, it's a guy.
looks like a guy. Just
Like
with
he's-
no
he's-
But he
bones.
has no bones?
He's big, but he's a guy. Like,
How does he stand
no
up?
bones?
it seems that he can like turn them off or something. Like he's like
It
he can stand perfectly
Stand?
normal and everything. Yes, stand.
I gotta look.
Not yet.
This like.
This Pillar Man is Santiago,
Santiago the Pillar Man.
otherwise known as Santana, because they couldn't call
like
him
the-
Santana in the dubs and the stuff, because Santana is a music artist. So they called him Santiago because like the same idea.
Okay. Alright.
He
I was
also
way off.
openly accepts the name, even though it was randomly spoken by von Stroheim, who is our resident,
Hiller?
close
I don't know how
enough.
to
He's
pick
as
it.
close as we get.
All right.
He's as close as we get.
All right.
Von Stroheim,
He's the big bad Hitler, big bad German guy.
big bad German guy who,
Okay.
throughout the
He wants
course of the
vampires.
story, actually becomes one of the side protagonists.
Oh,
I
this-
think we're getting to the part that's fuzzier for him. He's slowing down.
A little bit. Again, once we get to the true awakening,
This guy is a
this is the
beefcake.
baby awakening. This is like oh shit.
okay.
We got
There's
Santana
some Pillar Men
dealer.
out there. Yeah, Santana's
We got Santana dealer. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, he's a threat. He's a problem, but we can
But
still
he-
take
damn,
him.
he's
We can
hot.
still take him down in a couple episodes. Like that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Eric, I got a question for you, just in general. Like, is part 2 one of your favorites, or is it kind of like in the lower region for you?
So, part 2, it's a little bit lower on my ranking. I liked part 1 more. My first watch through, really liked part 1, and then got part of the way through part 2, and then just kind of trailed off the show a little bit. Like
Aztec Tripper Gods. I'm out.
No, I didn't even get that far, which I think is part of the problem.
Oh yeah, that would have
So I got
pull the rope back in.
I got only a few episodes deep. Like I think I pretty much finished the Straightso fight, and that was
Called it
about
quits.
it. And like, you know,
I'm satisfied.
I wasn't. I didn't like tell myself like I'm not watching this anymore. You know,
just
you
kinda
you
stop.
kind
Kinda
of
get out of something for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get sidetracked with
Sure.
your actual life or
Just
something.
don't go
for a
back
little
to
bit.
it. Yeah,
I was like that
Then
with
it's like,
the.
it ends up.
that happens.
I was like that with Better Call Saul. I watched like the first episode. I didn't really care. I was like, this is good, and then I wait like years to watch it, and it's like one of my favorite shows.
Happen.
pretty good.
It can happen.
It happens. It grows on you.
It happens, man. So I'm not.
So yeah.
I'm not.
Grass is always greener.
I understand, man.
But yeah, part
I get you,
part
Eric.
two.
So
I was
true.
just like, I'm
So
not
true.
really feeling this one as much. And then I
The
believe
Aztec stripper guides.
I saw a video on YouTube about JoJo, and I was like, oh, I know most of JoJo, because in my mind it's only 25 episodes, and I watched like 18 of them or something.
Yeah. How much
So-
can it change?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it is
Yeah. What are they
probably
gonna add
not
here?
even 18.
Just
Probably,
vampires and buff guys.
probably like 12. I saw more than half of it in my
Yeah.
mind. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, whatever. And so the guy was talking about part 5, which is so ass beyond what I'm looking at. I thought I saw a man wearing a purple spacesuit and a ghost like fucking arguing while a different ghost comes out of somewhere and stabs a third ghost.
This sounds like an Adult Swim show.
Slash like a fever dream.
That's how it airs in the USA. It's on Adult Swim.
I'm
But-
saying like
I didn't know
like a
that.
fucking
Like
Aqua
Robot
Teen
Chicken?
Hunger Force or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
I didn't know what the hell was going on, but the dialogue was kind of just as outlandish as what was happening. I was like, okay, what's going on? Found out later that was the Mirror Man fight from part 5.
Oh,
So that was.
Oh, you know that?
I had a good bit of lore. That was after.
it's making sense.
That
now.
was after Stans had already been a thing for 15 years, and I didn't even get to.
Right now, Dom.
I didn't even get
be
to
clicking after
the
that.
fact that stands are an option. I was still stuck up on
Spearman.
vampires.
Spearman fight.
I didn't even get to
Part
gods, let alone
Oh, we skipped a lot.
Stance.
I
Mickey Mouse.
I saw
Well, yeah, what
I
are
saw
these things?
vampire.
The Pillar
I didn't
Man
see
needs
God.
fed.
I didn't.
yet.
I didn't see stands.
the Pillar Man needs fed.
What do they feed him, like grapes?
Long story short, eventually I got back into the show. Found out literally the next episode that I would have watched was
good?
when like the major turning point of the season is, and then it
Yeah.
ramps nothing but up from there.
Okay.
I was like, well, son
you're
of
hooked.
a
Yeah, you're hooked
bitch.
What did they feed the Pillar Man?
They tried feeding it meat, but he ate the guy feeding him meat.
Tough.
So he did eat meat, though.
There
True.
are. That's true.
He eats meat.
Well, he left the meat they brought him, but he ate the person.
Still
How does
counts.
that make sense?
Win's a win.
What
I
the-
mean,
I-
this
it's
thing.
pretty-
What they don't know yet is this is a pillar man. This is somebody who
I know that.
feeds on
They know it's a pillar, man. He came from a pillar.
Did you
Right.
see what he
He's
looks
a man.
like? He looks pretty big and scary.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would not
look
get
up.
close to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't feed him meat personally.
Yeah, would you try to get meat and just wear like thick pads when
No.
you go into the cage with
No
them?
shot. No
I'm gonna
shot.
look up some of these other characters
shot, I
just to
would.
put a name to the face.
No shot. I'd do that.
So
So they're trying to feed him or whatever to figure out what his deal is or whatever.
Yes.
They're just
And
doing stuff with
yep,
him.
they're like, oh shit, these things eat people, and he's like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to tell you, like the vampire, like that mask creates vampires, like these things can't be controlled, and this clearly is some kind of super vampire, if not a god,
Right.
an Aztec stripper god, if you will.
Is he?
He's like the baby god. The big three are coming, but he was
that
like
be
the
Jesus?
he was like the
That's
little,
the Holy Ghost.
He's the baby god.
All right, so skipping way
Oh,
ahead
true.
again. Skipping way ahead
think
by
he's right.
going thousands
Oh,
of
what
years
if they
in the
did like a
past.
little like a kid show called God Babies?
Crossover.
Yeah, and it's just Jesus. Yeah.
God babies?
God babies. It's like Muppet Babies, but gods.
Yeah.
And it's literally just Jesus.
That's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
God
could be a good like
babies.
Disney Junior kind of
Yeah.
Saturday morning kind of show.
All right, Eric. Baby gods.
Yeah, skipping ahead just a little bit to give you the image of the baby god. Basically, Cars murders his entire race of vampire
The movie?
hunters. So
was
to
waiting to
speak.
say that.
Cars with a K, not Cars with a C.
German guy? Is that German
but
guy?
He
Not
has
Cars with a C?
he has his two.
There's a man named Cars?
his two right hand men with him. They decide to spare a baby of their kind so they can try to like raise it to be another perfect
There's
life form.
baby killings in JoJo?
Nope. There is a fight with a baby. But that baby,
And
but that fight takes place in a dream world, so they're not really beating up the baby. They're just fighting like a nightmare monster.
This
Okay.
all kind of went down a hill.
all kinda
don't you
clicking,
think?
isn't it?
Yeah.
A hill to die on.
Okay, keep going.
Santiago, is awakened. He's eating people.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Whoa, shit, what's that?"
Yeah.
And then Joseph comes in after disguising himself as a soldier, and he's like,
Okay.
it's like, no, like the only way to defeat these things, which he still thinks is a vampire, is with Hamon, like the sunshine magic, and like they can at this
Karate.
point he's gotten better. They can like see
Magic.
the aura around him, like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like this guy can do something.
Yeah.
And then while they're talking, Santiago compresses his massive frame and fits into a like air vent that's like this big.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
That's
oh
small.
god, he's escaping. What are we gonna do? And like they're all panicking, but Joseph's like, no, he can't go into the sun. That'll kill him. So we know he's inside, but he's gonna now massacre literally everybody in this building because he has a taste for flesh.
Yeah.
And he learned English in about 30 seconds after hearing like 12 words.
Okay. Okay.
Just a little fun fact for you.
Duolingo could never,
That's not
Duolingo.
super
Yeah.
relevant.
Duolingo.
He heard like 2 conversations and learned how to speak.
Well, he's like a
fluent
god or
modern
something,
day.
so it
Yeah.
seems
Makes
fine enough.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't doubt his powers. yeah.
reasonable. He didn't know it when he woke up, and reasonable he learned it so quick.
I'm not gonna question that part of Jojo, honestly. So
Yeah, there's a lot more to question later.
yeah,
I believe it.
yeah.
So he
He's in the vents.
he's in the vents. He's
Yeah.
coming up, and
He's looking
now,
pretty sus.
Now it's like, oh, bam! Don't worry, guys, I got this. Now it's the Joseph and Santiago or Santana, whatever you prefer, fight.
Cool.
And
Do you like this fight?
it was all right. I don't remember much except how it ends.
Okay.
That's all that matters. How does it end?
They're going up a stairwell
Okay.
because he's trying to like beat him into the sun because he knows like his
Yeah,
Hamon.
sun bad.
It's like it's doing damage. Like he's
Oh, it's weaker
reacting
inside
to the
too,
fact
yeah?
he's getting hit,
It's
but it's
weaker
not like
inside.
slowing him down
Okay.
at all, really.
Like a solar panel.
So
Yeah.
Joseph's main goal here is
Yeah.
to get him to go outside because he knows the sun's gonna kill him.
Sure.
So he's trying to do that, and then Stroheim, the head Nazi of this facility,
Okay.
decides to try to help, like, destroy this thing for the betterment of humanity. And
So good guy Nazi.
yeah, he changed his tune about the whole vampire army because he saw how dangerous this thing is.
Okay. Okay.
So he decides he ends up sacrificing himself. He throws a grenade to try and like cause an explosion to like make the thing go flying out. And in
Okay.
doing so, he blows off like all of his limbs.
Dumb. Bad decision.
Yeah, it's such a shame that he died so quickly after being introduced, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That is a
something's
shame.
gonna happen.
Yes, work out a
Oh, I don't trust that.
Something.
So they-
Ghost.
Stand.
No, that's part 3. We get into the ghosts and the stands and stuff. Part 2, we're still at where like death is real.
Okay.
So
Not for vampires.
That is real right now.
it
Okay.
is for
What happened to Dio's head?
It is currently at the bottom of the ocean.
Not dead though, right?
Right, because he's a vampire, and the sun doesn't reach that far down underwater.
That's
So
valid.
he
So
must be
he's-
dead.
I mean, he's alive. He's a vampire.
But
He's
can-
not gonna
I don't
die.
think-
Can they breathe underwater?
Oh yeah, I don't think vampires can breathe underwater.
The only thing that can kill him is sunlight.
That's it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
They don't need oxygen.
No, they just need not sunlight.
Is he like when you kill a chicken, you know? Body running around.
Yeah, is his body alive or just his head?
His body's
question.
probably dead because it was separated from him
Yeah.
when he decapitated himself after he was knocked off a cliff after being damaged by Hamon.
Why would he decapitate himself?
So he decapitated himself because the Hamon was so strong that hit him that it was like
Oh, spread.
spreading.
If he
So
didn't.
he cut off his own head
Oh.
because it hadn't reached that far yet. So he's just like slice,
And then it
now-
falls in the ocean.
and then
or whatever.
head flies one way, body
That
goes
seems
the
like
other.
it would be a hard thing to slice your head.
Probably.
It's a
And-
vampire.
Right.
yeah,
not
he's
easy.
a vampire.
Slice your
Scott.
head to literally like cleanly decapitate
Yeah.
yourself, you know?
It's probably not easy.
This is the same vampire who threw a cop so hard at other cops that their limbs flew off.
I bet he could do it.
Yeah, I bet he could do it too. It's just not gonna be fun though.
All
It's not gonna be
right.
fun either way.
You win this time, Dio.
It's not the last time he's gonna win. Anyway, back to part 2 where he's
What?
where he's
You
dead.
can't just drop that kind of bombshell on us.
So part 2 where is Stroheim blew himself up trying to
Did it work?
finish him off. Nope. But it gave Joseph the leverage he needed to do the final push to get him into the sun, and he doesn't disintegrate. Straightso
Uh-oh.
disintegrated.
Uh-oh.
Straightso just became ash when the morning sun hit him.
Okay.
The Pillar Man turned to stone.
Back into the Pillar Man.
Basically back into a Pillar Man. They're like, oh god, okay, so we can incapacitate these things, but we can't kill them?
Yeah.
So then
Old dog, new tricks.
I believe they crumbled the rock that he turned into.
Yeah.
And
That
then
makes sense.
the Speedwagon Foundation kept it in a box under UV lighting that
Thank
they
you,
had in the
Speedwagon.
1930s.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because
I
it's
didn't
the
even think
30s.
about that.
So yeah, it's like an artificial sun.
They had to
Nice.
like figure that out within a day.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
What if the light goes off?
The same day they found out that their boss
probably
wasn't
back up
dead.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So that's a thing. And then Joseph, now knowing the truth about Hamon and like what kind of things are out there, talks to Speedwagon about like, hey, what do you know that I don't?
Yeah.
Like get me more up to speed.
Yeah.
So Speedwagon admits that there is still a Hamon master. There is still a living Hamon master that Straightso didn't even know about. This was kept so top secret, truly nobody knew.
Okay.
Because, again, the only vampire they thought existed was Dio, and Dio's at the bottom of the ocean, so not a problem. But they always
For
need
now.
a contingency plan, so they had one more master. And yeah, nobody knew, not even Straightso, which is why he went after Joseph.
Right.
Because that's just potential to become master.
Yeah. Not masters. Yeah.
Yep. So, the
So
master
who is it?
is in Italy, my dudes.
Oh.
So we're going to Italy. We're already on our third continent in the same part.
Are there
Very cool.
Are there ever any like guest stars in JoJo? Like, would it be
You
like?
think Selena Gomez makes a guest star?
I was
I was
thinking
just-
Bill Murray, but
depends-
like,
That's either one. But
Depending on your definition
Bill Murray
of
as
guest star,
Stroheim.
like Steely Dan isn't in JoJo, but Steely Dan is.
Eric, re-explain that.
So like the band
get that
Steely
one.
Dan does not make an appearance. However, there's a character named Steely Dan.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah.
I was thinking like it's like how The Simpsons or something does a guest star where they're like, oh my god, it's Tony Hawk.
He's like, yeah, right. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's- yeah.
I was thinking like what I mean, like, you know, it's New York in the 30s. Like you'd have like a
Walkney.
fucking
Name a celebrity from the 30s.
Bing Crosby.
Babe Ruth.
The guy
maybe?
from The Honeymooners, Jackie Gleason.
He would have been alive, but I don't think he would have been famous.
He might have been. I don't know.
Wouldn't he
But-
been like 12?
Judy Garland, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy.
That is like
Betty
prime
White.
time when that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can have all these kinds of different. Whatever, Eric. Let's
So
hear about
we've
Italy.
incapacitated this god, and now Joseph's going to Italy to learn from a master. And there's also an apprentice, and they run into the apprentice first. And the apprentice is, another, again, it's a JoJo character from early on. Dude's gonna be like 6'6",
Yeah.
250 pounds of straight
Yeah,
muscle,
juice to the max,
juice
yeah.
to the absolute max.
Yeah.
This guy though is a total flirt.
Ooh,
He
he's
is
a bad boy.
He's introduced as
a flirt to
flirting
the audience, a flirt to Joe.
flirting to the
Blurs to the audience.
a,
viewers.
a man after
Looks at the
all of
camera.
our
You're looking
hearts.
damn cute out there.
A man after all of our hearts introduced trying to swoon a girl by using Hamon. Like he uses it to
I wish.
make a flower bloom like immediately.
I mean, if
after
I
he
had
pulls it.
Hamon, I
Yeah.
would definitely use it for that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who
If I
wouldn't?
have it, I'd be using it.
Who wouldn't? That's
Yeah.
why I think we're all like this man whose name I'm avoiding to say until the big reveal.
Can't
So
wait.
you know.
Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
No.
Oh, I'd do those.
So
That'd be
he's
cool.
Steely
um,
Dan.
yeah, Joseph's like, oh man, yeah, it's like, oh
Dio.
this guy's using Hamon, but like so recklessly and unnecessarily, like blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get into a little bit of a skirmish, a little bit of a
Fisticuffs.
fisticuffs, a hoot and a holler.
Yeah.
And that is when Robert introduces them to each other,
Okay.
and it is Caesar Zappelli.
I've heard you say that name before.
Zappelli.
I've heard that name.
This is the grandson.
what happened with that guy?
William Zappelli.
Caesar. I don't. Eric. Just explain it.
Caesar is 30s. William is 1880s.
All right, Eric.
So this is a grandson of that guy?
I got
Yes.
you.
Okay.
I got you.
Now,
Okay.
point of contention here. In the original manga, when William Zappelli is killed, it's
point of
stated
contention.
it's stated how he regrets never having a family and focusing only on Hamon,
But
so
he-
like there's nobody to carry on his legacy.
Right,
But then in
but-
part 2, here comes his grandson. So what happened
Someone
there?
lied.
Sure, yeah. One
So
of those,
yeah,
one of
so
those is
that
wrong.
was an actual like noted retcon. Was like they went back and changed that, even like because it's like one dialogue bubble that contradicts this character's existence.
This
So they
doesn't
just-
seem as bizarre
they
as
just-
the first part so far.
They just changed it a little.
What do
made
you
it like
mean?
made it so that he abandoned his family instead of never had time for a family.
Okay.
So it's you change 2 words and suddenly it's not a plot hole. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a huge deal to me.
Not a
Eric,
huge
how would you
deal.
rank the bizarreness of each part?
I'd say it ramps up. It ramps up.
You'd say
It
part
starts-
2 is more bizarre than part 1?
Okay.
Part one's
It
not that
starts-
bizarre, really.
It starts. I'd put it at like.
Yeah, a little
I'd put it
bizarre.
at like a 6, maybe a
Vampires.
7 out of 10 on the bizarre scale.
There's a Thundercross split
Part
attack.
2,
but
I'm gonna put at like the same thereabouts, like a 6, maybe a 7. Part
Okay.
8, we get into like a hard 7. Like,
Ghosts.
no lingering doubt.
Ghosts.
Like that's a hard 7.
stands.
Part 4, you get into the 8 territory, like clear, like this shit's getting weird. Part 5, now this shit's getting bananas. So it's like you're fucking
They
nine-
rename it
what's
JoJo's
nine, if
Banana
not
Adventure.
10. Nine,
What's
if
the
not 10.
bizarrest?
Then
What's a 10
part
out of 10
6.
bizarre?
Part 6 is like you need. You can't
That's
even
stressing 'em out,
you
you can
can't
tell.
even like give a bare bones description of anything that happens without it creeping into every
Try.
little
No,
we're not at
I don't want to hear anything about it
Whoa.
yet. I don't hear anything
part,
about
part
it yet.
6. Part 6 is up there, like 8.5, 9, like up in that territory.
I want it all contained.
Part 7 is more of a
One.
is more of a refined bizarreness.
The Office.
As a more refined bizarreness. Like you
Nothing
can describe part 7 without sounding too insane,
Yeah.
Or
but
refined
it's
bizarreness.
the details where things get like a little cuckoo bananas.
Is
I'd
that a
s-
name of a character in JoJo? Cuckoo Banana?
Sadly, no. There's nobody named Cuckoo Bananas in JoJo. But part nine is not very far. We're only a few chapters in. There's still time.
Cool.
Part 8, they kind of did a 180 and went back to the holy fucking hell, this is wacky and wild. Like, again, 10 out of 10 there in part 8, JoJolian. And part 9 so far, I'm going to say...
4.
I mean, admittedly, the craziest thing that's happened so far is, whoa, that cat has a stand? That's about how far we are in part 4.
Okay.
Is that like chapter 3,
Did you
maybe 4?
exclaim that when reading it?
No, but the guy who's kind of dressed like Tingle. From
You don't mention
Zelda.
that.
This is
We're not
part
even there
9.
yet.
This is part 9.
On
man.
part 2 still.
This is a slight reference to a slight nod to part 9. The guy who dresses like
Slight
Tingle
nod.
from Zelda, I believe, points and is like, I think that cat's the stand user. Like that.
Okay.
The rest of the rest of that part is very much
Monotone, yeah.
very basic.
We are 4
It's
chapters.
literally
we
a
are
Seinfeld episode.
Literally.
Word for word.
Literally.
we might.
He still
might-
loves it, but it's genuinely plagiarizing
Until the cat
Seinfeld.
used to stand. It's just
That's the
I
only
love
thing
that
that's
episode of
different.
like,
Seinfeld
alright.
when the neighbor's cat used its tripwire stand.
Yeah.
it's pretty cocoa bananas.
Cuckoo bananas.
Cuckoo, sorry.
My
Cocoa's
ultimate attack, Cuckoo Cocoa Bananas.
different character.
All right, Eric. So back to part 2.
We're in Italy.
Steely Dan.
Caesar
Steely
Zappelli.
Dan's in part 3. That
Caesar
was one of the
Zappelli.
tangents.
Yeah.
Caesar Zappelli.
I remember the names.
Boom. And then it's we have a little haha fun time with Joseph and Caesar.
What do they do?
Just hating each other.
Okay.
So like, they're both being dicks, like just to each other, but like casually, like they're not like fighting again or anything.
Are they killing each other's dogs like
But
last
like
time?
they're just trying to show off. Like Joseph uses his Hamon to like twirl a perfect spaghetti. Or
That's pretty
something.
sweet. Yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
sweet.
Caesar sees that, so he
Swoons over him.
So he jumps like 15 feet in the air before crossing his legs and landing gently in his seat.
Is
Or
that part of the
something,
karate?
just to
Wait,
look
is
like
that-
a hard ass.
Does Hamon help with that?
Yeah, they're both blatantly using Hamon to try and like.
And are you
Yeah.
not supposed to? Just use it willy-nilly? Is it like Harry Potter, you can't use magic in front of muggles?
No, it's nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that. The average person seems
It's nothing.
No.
the general population's so disconnected from Hamon as like a concept that they don't really know or care.
Okay.
They don't care. I mean,
It's like
Pretty big
3
deal.
people in the world who even can kind of use it.
I feel like if I would
And
very
so if you're
care.
not, if
Yeah,
you don't
I
live
care.
in Italy,
They don't have the internet like they do now, you know.
that's true. It's the 30s. Best we can do is a fireside chat, but I think they got more important things to talk about than Hamon, like the Great Depression.
Yeah,
That's
they're
over
talking
by now.
More about like Charlotte's Web or some bullshit. You
I don't know. This is basically a superpower, and you don't.
The Yankees, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
some
know.
pig.
Talk about Yankees.
So Italy, dinner, showing off to each other.
Yeah, spaghetti.
Yeah, what's that shit? You know, like whatever. People are freaking out over the spider web that says some pig, but then Jojo is over here using sunshine karate magic, and people
one
aren't
gives a
talking about that.
That's what I'm saying. Why aren't people caring more about this?
So back in the day, Jonathan only really used it in towns that were overrun already with like zombies and monsters and vampires. So he could just kind of, it was like the thing that killed him. So that's how he was doing it. There weren't really many survivors. And then the fights were also in like Dio's castle or on a boat that was immediately sank into the ocean. So not really,
What happened to Dio's castle?
not a big witness situation. It's probably still standing to this day.
What's it being used for?
I probably storage.
It's a
I
big
can't-
waste.
I
Big waste. That.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
people have much use for a castle that's missing part of a steeple.
Can do
Uh,
tours at
'cause
least.
It's
When
definitely
he
tourism.
was,
Yeah, I can do tours now.
as Dio was falling, he shot out an I-beam attack to try and kill Jonathan, but he was already like moving down, so his eyes were up higher, and he sliced off part of the top of the tower.
Do you
Yeah.
think that kind of annoyed him?
I think he was more annoyed about the Hamon that was taking over his body, so he had to cut off his own head.
Oh, this sucks.
It's like,
I don't think
Roof's
really,
gone.
he didn't care about the
damn, I'm
castle.
gonna have to call somebody about this. He kind of just like overtook it with his vampire powers. He didn't really like. It's not like he bought it or was paying a mortgage or anything. Like,
So
claimed
what?
it
Who,
as his
there's,
own.
they don't pay any property tax on that?
I'd
Oh,
imagine
he
not.
definitely would not. No,
Yeah,
I feel like he's
Dio
a
does
criminal.
not. He thinks he's above property taxes.
Well, that's the thing that's gonna bite you in the ass in the end, you know.
The IRS is a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Even
if
in
they're
England
still
or whatever.
alive at the bottom of the ocean, they will
Yeah.
find him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he just let the Hamon take him over, and then he
That
won't have
shit's
to worry
adding up
about
too,
that.
year by year.
Yeah.
Been 50
So,
years too.
Bam, we got Caesar.
He had no answer.
We got Caesar. We got Joseph. They're still kind of like "Bleh," with each other.
Yeah.
We got Speedwagon, and then we get an invitation for a meeting from
The IRS.
Stroheim.
Smash Brothers.
Stroheim?
Von Stroheim, the guy who blew himself up with a grenade.
Oh, the
Oh.
German dude.
They're like, oh my god, he's alive.
Wow.
So they're like, okay, well, you know what? He turned a new leaf. You know, let's hear him out. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
And that's when they find out that he has gotten robotic implants.
Dope.
So he's got-
1938.
Yeah.
Yep, 1938. He's got
Okay.
robotic implants for arms and legs. They're
Okay.
rigged with weapons. He's got a cannon in his stomach that shoots like machine
Spaghetti?
gun.
Oh, jinx.
It's like a
So it's not a cannon; it's a gun.
yeah, it's a gun. Yeah, it's a straight up machine gun. As a,
None of it makes sense
like
anymore.
a retractable machine gun for his stomach, and
Okay.
like yeah, he's like a cyborg, but it's like 1938.
Yeah.
What's up?
Okay.
Yeah, von
yeah.
Stroheim.
Let me see a picture of that.
Yeah, he's pretty.
What's the meeting about?
They found something.
In South America?
Nope. This time it is in Europe.
Is it more Pillar Men?
I want to say it's Italy still, but it might not be. I forget exactly where it is.
Let's just say Switzerland and call it even.
Yeah, we'll call it Switzerland.
All right, Eric. Let's hear it. What
All right,
happened?
what'd they find? Yeah,
So
what'd
they found another pillar, but this one has 3 men.
How are
on
they just
it.
finding these?
I don't know.
They're pretty big, right?
Yeah, they're huge.
I feel like we would have explored
And they
that.
haven't
Went out a
been-
search or something?
They haven't been seen for thousands of years.
So they
In
just
Europe,
all
too, of all
happened to find
places.
all these at once?
Alternatively, if I'm remembering things a little bit
Big
hazily,
deal like made him rise or something, you know?
the Germans might have caught wind of the single Pillar Man
And then they
after
started-
they'd already seen the triple, and they thought that would be easier to work with, so they went there first.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's possible.
See
Sure,
that.
fine enough.
After they found out what the first Pillar Man does, why would they even want to resurrect this one?
Stroheim is not the only person in this organization, and some people did not witness the horrors because most of the people there died. And all we have now is a cyborg man who lived to tell the tale.
Is he like bad now again though?
Nope, he is.
he's still good?
He's
He's
still
really don't have
pretty
many
chill.
record
You know?
keeping.
He's being given orders, but he's all right.
Okay,
he's all right.
But he's not like brainwashed or anything, like
Right,
in a cyborg mind.
Yeah, he's not brainwashed.
He's still like these are bad or whatever.
He's still him.
Nope, he is still Stroheim.
Okay.
And he, even though he becomes a robot, he only gets softer from here.
Sweet.
By the end of this tale, you're rooting for him.
I root for him already, so.
What's Arena doing right now?
She's hanging back in New York. She's like, nope, not doing this. Not doing this shit again. Joseph, if you fucking die, I swear to God.
To play for laughs.
Yeah, it's a little play for laughs. And then it goes,
Oh yeah, when was that? How much does that happen?
every episode.
Okay, cool.
That's
What
a
is
that's a
that?
part 1 and 2 thing. You
That's
know
the
that
ending.
that to be continued meme where it's
Oh.
like and it's a
I
freeze
guess
frame.
I don't. I thought I did, but I don't.
Just keep shaking your head, man. It's
It's,
funny. Yeah,
yeah,
he
see,
knows it.
loves that one.
See that's a meme that escaped even the Jojo fandom. Kind of got into
It
the
did.
mainstream. Not
Yeah.
enough for Dominic, but enough. Like
Yeah.
there's a good chunk of people out there who'd recognize.
I knew about that
bit.
before I knew about JoJo.
Yeah, I realized that was from Jojo when I watched
It's just a
the
to be
first
continue
episode.
frame?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, that's how they ended every episode in parts 1 and 2.
Oh, that's frustrating.
I'm fucking pissed right now.
But when you're streaming it on Netflix,
That's
the
true.
to be continued is in the next 12 seconds, so it works.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. Let's
Yes,
wrap this up.
Bam! Now here we are.
We might not
three-
even be close. I don't know.
3 pillar men. We're like just shy of the halfway point, probably. So 3. We'll speed up a little bit. 3 pillar men now, and they're like,
I just feel
And it's like-
for the past hour, I've just been hearing 3 pillar men, 3 pillar men, 3 pillar.
and they awaken, and
Yes.
Give a fuck about the pillar
song
What do you
that
mean? That's
plays.
like the primary part of this.
So the first Aztec stripper god awakens from the pole, and they're like, "Oh my god, like he's beautiful." His name's Wamu. His name's Wamu, by the way.
Wamu,
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
And
man. Yeah.
Cool.
Joseph and Caesar
Yeah.
are there incognito undercover. Really easy to sneak into these army lines apparently
Apparently.
because they just waltz right in. And
Yeah,
nobody
seems like it.
seems to care. And Wamu, they're like, "Oh, whoa, here he is. He's even bigger than the last one." So Joseph's like,
Not a
"Oh
baby.
shit."
Yeah.
So then he just kind of walks over and he pretty much just touches one of the soldiers, and that causes like a domino effect of the soldiers melting.
Huh.
Like just from them being touched.
Tough.
And he just killed an entire like battalion.
Is this at
of
night, so
soldiers.
there's no sunlight?
Correct.
Okay.
Why they thought that was a good idea, I will not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best time of night for a Aztec stripper god or a vampire,
Yeah.
and that's when they're doing this.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
So he's awake, and then he goes, "Awaken, my masters!" And then he like touches the heads of the other 2 pillar men, and then they come alive, and then they do a pose where they're all like going like that,
squad
and
pose, yeah, for
a
the
little
pictures.
song plays that also became a little bit of a meme for a little bit there.
Okay.
And Dominic, do you know that one?
Yes.
The one I can't even hum because it's
I have no. I don't know.
It's
That's the
very
top of
much
the-
a.
I might
He doesn't
recognize
even
it.
You
remember
might-
the memes.
You might recognize it when you hear it.
Maybe.
like, yeah. That one was. It wasn't as big as the to be continued meme, but it
Well, I
was.
definitely don't know it.
You never know. Sometimes little things.
Hey, maybe that one-
find
maybe,
ways to you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You never know.
You never know. Grass always greener.
Send him a meme of this like 3 a.m. tonight.
Found it.
Yeah.
So, bam! Wamu awakens the other 2 pillar men, and then
Who's Wamu?
the first pillar man who woke up, the second pillar man overall.
All right.
Yep.
So he wakes up.
First one that woke up, second overall. Okay.
Yep. He's the one who
Wamu.
that woke up tonight. Wamu. He's the one with the shoulder pads
Yes.
and like the
Shoulder
headdress
pads.
kind
And
of
he
thing.
melted all the
And he
army.
melted
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
of
and
the,
then he woke
all
up
of
his
the
side
one
soldiers.
touch.
Yeah.
And yes, so Joseph and Caesar decide, all right, we gotta fight this guy. Like, yeah, Caesar gets incapacitated like pretty much immediately.
Dead?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Never.
So, so Joseph and Wamu go to fight. Joseph's getting his ass kicked, but he's doing a
Yeah.
little bit better than Caesar.
Who are you rooting for?
The good
Not
guys.
the villains.
What do you mean?
I am not rooting for the villains. Not rooting for this primordial evil that's awakened suddenly.
But Jojo ripped
Idiot.
ass at dinner.
Wait, if they're Aztec, how are they in Europe?
Remember the Germans
it's a
excavated
bit,
them
it's
and
a
brought
bit
them back?
fuzzy.
Fine.
It's a bit
Germans
fuzzy.
excavated them. Dominic saved you, I
some
think.
of the, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll just call this the highlight reel of part 2 because that's about all I can
That's
really
Fine, yeah.
remember.
We're not
So,
testing you.
Boom, fighting Wamu versus Joseph.
Yeah.
Wamu's clearly gonna win. Joseph has a trick up his sleeve because he gets a feeling for this guy. He thinks he understands him as a person god thing. So he says, "Hey, killing me now, that's not gonna do anything for you. You know, like I'm weak, I'm young, I don't know what I'm doing. If you give me a chance for a rematch, I'll give you a battle more worth your time." And
Yeah.
Wamu is intrigued.
I wouldn't
by
be
this offer.
personally, no.
Yeah, that just
Wamu-
seems a
Why
little
would he
stupid.
Yeah, why would you want that as Wamu?
Wamu is the warrior of the trio.
I don't like Wamu.
Wamu is the good guy of the Pillar Men.
Didn't he wake up the other guys, though? Aren't they awake right now, or no?
Yes.
Wamu killed the whole battalion.
Yes.
Yeah, but good
To
guy
protect
Wamu.
his
Good guy
masters.
Wamu is
He's-
gonna.
He's
The,
What are the
he's
other two
got the
guys
heart of
doing
a
now?
warrior.
Heart of gold.
All he truly wants is
A good fight.
a
Okay,
good fight. He wants to
fine.
die in battle. Like that's kind of his
Okay.
ultimate goal.
That's fine.
He doesn't want to be killed by sunlight or circumstance. He wants to be killed
Yeah.
in battle.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Why would he want to get killed by sunlight, Eric?
Our circumstance, whatever that is, whatever that would be.
Not hit by a bus.
That wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, it wouldn't anyway, unless it's running at night.
Yeah, Jojo is like distracting him, like I will like come back and we'll fight when I'm more trained. And then he goes like no, and then a school bus comes down.
Yeah, basically, there was a gas leak this whole time. It finally got to him.
Yeah, he's in cahoots with the school bus driver. Yeah, school bus driver drove up.
Just in
Wamu
some
didn't
military
notice.
field in Europe.
Yeah, there's a school bus right off to the side. It's in plain sight.
He just shouts.
Gas pedal. What?
So Wamu, intrigued by the idea of a fair fight and Joseph training, decides, okay, I'll take you up on your offer. But
Sure.
just so I know, you're not cheating. You're not trying to just escape. He rips open Joseph's chest and plants this poison ring on his lungs, which is a slow-acting poison. It'll kill him after I think it's 30 days. I
not a
don't
long
know how he
time.
gave
Yeah, he's
that
doing
exact.
about the same age.
Yeah, that's
I
not
don't
a
know
long time.
about how much dosage he gave, but gave
Yeah.
him 30 days.
Okay.
And the only antidote that's possible for that poison, he has in his nose ring.
Okay.
So,
Wamu?
yep.
Okay.
So the only way to get the antidote for the poison, you'd have to take it off his nose ring,
Right.
which he's not just gonna give it to you. He's
You gotta wait till he's
gotta
sleeping.
basically take it off.
Yeah. Catch him while he's
Gotta
napping.
take it off his severed head. Basically, is the
Gotcha.
one
Yeah.
way you're getting that,
Or the school bus method.
or the school bus method, whichever seems to be easier. So then, intrigued by the concept.
The funniest death
So now
idea.
Joseph is here. He's got a poison thing on his lungs, and he's like, "Oh God, I was bluffing. What am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
And then the other Aztec stripper god, whose name escapes me and doesn't really do much of note the entire series, also comes down, puts on a second one onto
poison ring?
into his throat
Wow.
or
Seems
something.
unnecessary, no?
Because Hamon utilizes breathing techniques, so now he's got one on his lung and his throat. He won't be able to breathe. He's got no chance.
Seems unnecessary,
Because
really.
this is the dickhead of the Pillar Men.
Oh.
So he does that.
Okay, what's the third one do?
The
Help
third
him out?
one's the ringleader. His name is Cars. He does play a bigger
Not the
role
franchise,
with a K.
correct?
Life
Okay.
is a
With a K.
highway.
With a K.
Okay.
So they run off into the night to do God knows what. And now Joseph's like, oh God, now I gotta, what am I gonna
Fight the
do?
gods, yeah.
Like I can't. How am I gonna get this strong in 30 days? So that's when he and Caesar decide to go see the Hamon Master, where Caesar learned everything, and her name is Lisa.
Lisa.
Despite being a master of this ancient art form that was supposedly been extinct for thousands of years, minus the few people who carry it on, this lady looks like she's like 30
Okay.
or something.
She doesn't seem like she'd be a master of this.
Right. And
Okay.
that's like, Joseph's like, haha, oh, okay, haha, where's the master? And then
Yeah.
she kicks his ass
Okay.
because, she's a Hamon master.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn, okay, yeah, let's train.
Right.
And then they
Train.
start training.
Okay.
They start training.
A lot of that.
During the little
Cool,
training
fun.
arc, where they only have 30 days, few highlights to even be approved for the training by her, Lisa. They have to climb out of this, what is effectively a 16-story building deep pit
How do you make
that
that even?
only has one way to get up it, and that's a pillar in the middle, and it's constantly spewing oil from the top. So you
mess.
gotta kind of use Hamon like Spider-Man to crawl your way up.
It's a damn
And
mess.
that's the only way you can get out of this pit.
Is that what the Speedwagon Foundation is funding?
I'm guessing so.
Okay.
Or she's naturally rich because she may or may not
a
be
lot of
from an
oil.
important family in the story.
It's a
of
lot of oil.
the
The
story.
Brandos?
This she might play a much bigger role here shortly.
Okay. I'm expecting big things then.
So yes, Caesar
Lisa
and Joseph,
Lisa Brando. I'm gonna call it now.
and part of this training,
He didn't
she puts
say
on
no.
some respirators on him, but not like good respirators, like really bad ones that actually inhibit your breathing.
Okay.
So now Joseph has poison ring on his throat, poison ring on his lung, and a breathing inhibitor on his face. He's kind of fucked,
That's a lot.
right?
That's
Like
a lot.
that. You need to breathe to use your Hamon.
In general, even really.
Caesar just has the breathing apparatus thing on him, but he's recovering from injury, so it's not like super easy for him either.
Yeah.
So they're climbing. They're climbing this slippery pillar. Caesar makes it out first. Joseph tries cheating, falls back down to the bottom, and eventually he does in fact make it up as well. There were a
Okay.
few moments in there that was about half an episode, but it was
All right.
good. It was done well.
I like it.
Really good.
He's done well.
Oh, God.
Good job.
So
Good
then
job.
she's like, "Congratulations, you both survived. Now train with these guys." And two guys whose names escape me, and
Relevant.
so they're relevant for the end of this episode, and then they're relevant for the next 15-minute montage of just like
The long montage.
yes, probably minute and a half
Okay.
montage.
Kind of long.
There's a 1.5 something in there.
Okay.
Little montage of them training, and you
Alright.
see them in like the back or foreground of like all these shots.
Are they playing some fun music? Like,
Yeah, sure.
okay.
And then here we are. So it's been something like 26 days or so.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Kind of close,
So
eh?
yeah, like
Yeah.
we're getting pretty close to the cutoff window there. Suddenly, the third pillar man, who's kind of an asshole, appears at the training facility that's in this really secret location because he really wants the Red Stone of Asia, which is a relic owned by Lisa.
Ah, yeah.
Don't know how she got it. It's probably explained. I don't remember.
What is it used for?
The mask Cars was wearing is the Super Stone mask. That one, yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Probably should have mentioned this one. There were 3 men in a pillar. They each had different masks.
Okay.
The one Cars was wearing had an opening that was clearly meant for something, like to put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They now know it's the Red Stone of Asia,
Does
which
that
is this
enhance its
massive
power?
jewel. It doesn't just enhance its power. So the Aztec stripper gods are the things that prey on vampires. Vampires prey on humans.
Right, I forgot about
the
that,
Red
yeah.
Stone of Asia, smearing the blood of an Aztec god on it, will turn you into the ultimate life form. The thing that could
Shadow
prey...
the Hedgehog. Yeah.
Yes. Turns you into Shadow the Hedgehog, the true ultimate life form.
That's pretty
Not
sweet.
even the sun can vanquish this.
Wow.
Not even.
Well, the shadow. Yeah, this makes sense. I get it.
See?
I
See,
get it. That
gets
tracks.
Yeah.
All right. I get the food chain there.
So
Okay.
that's their master plan. That's what they really want to do. They're trying to capture that stone.
But isn't
so
that
they
just the
can-
one guy then? Would the other guys be? The other stone men be fucked?
I mean, they like the
If there's
mask.
only one,
the,
there's gonna be one ultimate being, right?
the mask
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
one-time use. It activates and then it falls off. So you just put
So
it
like,
back
but like
on.
the
and
one,
now
the one dickhead Aztec god is trying to become the ultimate being or whatever.
he's trying to get it so that way he can bring it back to Cars.
Oh.
Because Cars is
Cars
the
gonna be the
leader.
guy.
He's the leader. He'd be the first one to do it.
But
Okay.
didn't you say you have to spread blood of one of
Yep.
the stone men?
You can still
Yeah.
get that.
But
So you
we've
have to
now
kill.
got
I think it's
at least 3, maybe 4 times where a mask has been used and spilled blood was put on it, but the person whose blood was spilled was not killed.
Yeah, they're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just needs to be blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it'll
Doesn't be
still
all the
work.
blood.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just some.
Okay.
So
Okay, so we want the stone.
So yeah, he wants the stone so
Yeah.
he can give it to Cars. Cars can become
Shadow
the
the
ultimate
Hedgehog,
life
yeah.
form, and then spread the power to him and Wamu.
Gotta go fast.
So when he sneaks up to try and break into the place, he kills one of the training people whose names
Montage
I don't
guys?
remember.
Okay.
Kills one of the montage guys.
Damn.
And then I think it's revealed that the other one died too somehow during the battle.
Oh,
Stroke
no.
or something, maybe?
So they both die. One of them on screen.
All right.
If you're watching this as a chain, not as like end of episode, next episode. Technically, they spanned 2 episodes of life,
Okay.
but if it's just a straight line, it's probably about 8 minutes.
Okay.
All
They,
right.
they were not there very long.
Clearly.
Their name was a reference to something, I think. They're dead.
RP, I guess.
So
Also, during the training session era there, Joseph tries to peep on Lisa, and he does a little like thing where it goes like, nice.
I
And he,
thought
like,
you said
looks
he was
directly
he
into
had
the
a good
camera.
heart. He
Yeah.
sounded like a bit of
He's trying
a
to cheat.
bit of a
He's doing a little peeping.
sleazeball.
He's
Yeah.
a little bit of a delinquent. He's kind of rough around the edges, but deep down, he's got a heart of gold.
So did they get the stone?
No, battle ensues. Joseph outsmarts him, does another one of his, but next you'll say, and
The
then
bus.
says the guy's line, and he's like, and then he's like, what? And then Joseph sets up this elaborate trap using Hamon and frequencies to kind of repel back, yes, a school bus out of nowhere to then run into the
Works every
Aztec
time.
gods, because there are 2 things that can beat these guys: the sun and school buses.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Or is it a public bus? What bus were you thinking?
I was thinking school bus.
School bus, yellow school bus, not a
Classic.
white Tarta. White
No.
Tarta doesn't work. Yellow school.
It's not as sneaky. So is that guy dead? Is that Aztec god dead now?
Yes.
Wow.
We have successfully defeated one of the
One of the
Aztec
3?
gods.
Jeez.
Because
Thank
the
God.
battle.
How much longer in this part do we have left?
We're in the final major push.
Okay.
Final
Okay.
major push.
All right.
So, what he didn't notice during the fight, though, before he died, a piece of him kind of scurried away like a little worm.
Like
Oh goodness!
So the little
They can do
worm,
that?
the little worm piece of this one can.
He broke
Little-
off
this one?
like a finger.
does it move like a worm?
Yeah. So it
That's pretty
goes
funny.
in and it affects the maid, whose name I really should remember because she
Affects the
comes into
maid.
play several times later in the show.
Okay. Does she now become like a powerful thing?
She becomes Joseph's husband.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
The maid from Lisa's mansion and Jojo get married at the end of part 2.
But is the maid like?
They're the same age.
No. You said this maid was
Oh, okay.
attacked by or was infected by something.
Infected.
Yeah, the
Even.
little worm finger piece that's left of
Yeah.
the Aztec stripper god, and it basically he doesn't have enough power to really do anything other than kind of like take over her mind.
It's like a leech.
yeah,
That's pretty
basically, a
powerful,
little
though.
leech.
Yeah. Take over
Little
mind, pretty
leech.
powerful.
Oh yeah,
leech,
wait
and
a
he
minute.
just-
If it takes over the mind.
That's not
Makes
nothing.
makes her his thrall, but that's
not
like,
nothing.
He doesn't even have the power to kill her or anything.
Still something.
But he does that so that way he can kind of sneak in and then mail the stone to his.
Mailing it?
Yep, it goes in the mail.
Wow.
The next episode is them hunting down the mail train to try and catch that letter.
Cool.
But before they can do that, they have to, uninfect him
Unpoison.
from. This is gonna
Yeah, he's got the poison on.
drive me nuts if I can't remember her name.
The maid?
Yeah, Susie Q.
Susie Q.
I know it was simple. Yep, Susie Q.
All right.
So they don't want to kill Susie Q because obviously she's an innocent girl. She hasn't done anything wrong. Joseph, not one to kill random strangers or people he loosely
He gets
knows.
married, though.
Ultimately, yes.
Eventually.
So he and Caesar work together and devise like a clever plan to specifically strike the Hamon directly onto the leech.
Did they ever make
With-
any cheese jokes with Caesar?
No.
What?
He's named after cheese.
Who? Caesar?
Yeah, Caesar.
They
The
kind
chicken
of
Caesar salad.
Is that really a cheese?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't think Caesar's a cheese.
not a cheese. Caesar's a type of salad. It's like a style of
I
salad
don't think that's the cheese there.
I don't think that's a cheese
I don't
at
think that's
all.
the cheese on it.
that our good friend Caesar Romero preferred.
Yeah, alright, well, either way.
Get it? That's not the right Caesar.
It's a salad joke. I don't get it. No, I don't get it.
cheese
Sorry.
joke.
Caesar
Julius.
Romero was the Joker in the '60s Batman.
All right, now I get it.
Did they make any of those jokes?
Now I get it.
No,
Did they make any jokes?
no. Actually, the '60s Batman was the series' first foray into serious
True
kind
crime.
of broody storytelling.
What's the funniest joke in JoJo?
It's kind of an in the moment enjoyment kind of thing.
I
like-
really want to know if he gets these rings off.
Yeah, so there we go. Thank you, Dominic. Somebody who freaking cares about what's going on
I
here.
care. I just wanted to hear the
So
funniest
yes,
joke.
so they gotta kill the last little bit of this fucker who's
Yeah.
attacking Susie Q, and they do. And they're like,
Oh.
hooray, we did it! And they didn't get the stone, which is when they found out that's why he infected her, so she could mail the stone to
Yeah.
the rest of the Pillar Men.
So the infection thing's gone now?
Yep, infection thing's gone.
So one
Susie
Pillar Man
Q
down.
is just Susie Q again.
Okay, cool.
And they're like, hooray, you're alive.
Cool.
And then that's when they realize that
It's in a
the
box
stone
or
is
an
missing.
envelope?
An envelope.
It's very small, huh?
It's like
Yeah, you could easily put that in. Yeah,
Forehead
big-
sized? Yeah, it's forehead
pretty
sized.
pretty big for a jewel.
I feel like a stamp would suffice. I don't think it'd be that
honestly,
much.
it can't be. It's probably not very heavy. Honestly,
I wouldn't trust USPS with it though, probably, yeah.
absolutely not. Absolutely
I
not.
wouldn't do that personally. Not even with expedited shipping, probably.
You got FedEx yet?
Maybe UPS.
Wouldn't trust any of them either.
I'm wondering, yeah.
But you know, when you're down to just being a little leech that's infecting a maid, when else can you trust the post office? You got no choice but to trust the post
Yeah.
office.
Your
Yeah.
dad is a mailman.
That's damn true.
Not anymore. He's retired.
Now we can say that though. Now we can.
Yeah,
now, we
now I'm allowed to speak my true feelings
Yeah.
about the U.S. Postal
Yeah.
Service.
can... yeah. The NDA's off now.
The NDA is over.
Can reveal the dirty secrets.
Fuck the mail.
Is that it?
90% of what circulates through there is just spam and bills.
So how about those rings?
Yeah.
So yes, Joseph and
2016.
Does
there's
he
only
use these rings to propose?
no.
They get married.
He does not use.
That would kill her too. It's
He does
poison.
not use
No,
the
no,
poison.
but like imagine if it's like like after after everything is all good, the poison is yeah, the poison is now gone from the ring, so he's like, oh, will you marry me?
I feel like he's going to talk about that.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, sure. So
enough,
here
let's
we
get to
are.
it.
You know, they realize what happened. They see where that letter was heading, and they decide we got to go on a journey, try to track it down. And as Lisa, Caesar, and Jojo are getting into the car, ready to cruise off after, he makes a promise to Susie Q that he's not going to get himself killed because he intends to marry her. And she's like, "Aw, so sweet. The man that I've known for a month
Right.
is now loosely proposing to me."
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
It was the 30s.
it happens.
Yeah.
That was probably like
That was
them
normal.
waiting a bit longer than normal
Yeah.
to get married.
There's important things going on, so
Yep. So they rush off to try and make it to the letter, and then it stops in this one town, and they stop there too to try and get it, but there's some commotion. They end up needing to stay the night in this town. It's snowing.
wait, doesn't he have to fight the one guy before the poison ring goes off?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, he
that's
does.
still a
He still has
thing.
a couple days.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Still got
Wait,
time.
to make sure we didn't skip that
Still
part
got
yet.
time, but not a lot.
Okay, just make sure we
And
didn't
now
miss
they
that.
and now they're both kind of
It's not
trying
like
to
a train robbery or something, right?
They're trying to intersect each other anyways, so they can get the.
Stone?
They both want the stone.
Yeah, the
Are they,
sorcerer's
are they on a
stone.
train right now?
No.
Okay, I was
What the school bus wouldn't work on a
Trains?
train,
no,
I
no,
guess.
no. I was picturing
Trains
they're
come
on
into
a
play
giant
later.
They're on a giant train thing, and one of the box cars is filled with letters.
Oh, they're trying to get
okay.
to that boxcar.
Yeah.
They're
Like
on
instead-
the box car.
Like instead
but
of coal.
Yeah.
that's what I
letters.
was thinking.
They got to figure out which one's the right letter.
Where are they
Yeah,
right
just rip
now?
through the
I
letters.
forget. Let's say Switzerland.
Perfect, that's
Because
okay.
it's like snowy and
The Alps.
mountainy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Alps
It's
area.
like snowy and mountainy. There's a little side bit with cars where he's just like kind of pretending to be a normal person, so he can try try to steal something, but then he shows off his arm razors. I mentioned this loosely before.
Yeah.
Araki likes doing little arm
Yeah.
saw things.
Sure.
Looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
The main villain in part 2 is the one who uses it. Actually, now that I think about it, that might have been when they were reintroduced to Stroheim, so I definitely got a few things out of order.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Stroheim, cyborg, yay.
Yeah.
Speedwagon?
Cars does his
He's
thing
still
with
around,
his
right?
arms, and he like... boom. Speedwagon's an old man, and this is a very dangerous situation. He's
Yeah.
he's kind of
Is he back in Italy?
taking a backseat.
Yeah,
to
he's
this one.
retired.
He's
He can't
just-
be doing all the fighting.
He's,
I kinda like,
he's
what-
more recon.
Maybe he's
than
driving
anything.
He's not here right now.
Right.
Maybe he's
Okay,
driving
yeah.
the school bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting.
He
the
is
school
called a
bus.
Speedwagon.
He's getting
but
his
I'm
school
kind of
bus
imagining
license,
like
so
if he
he
was a
can-
part of this whole. I'm kind of
His
imagining if he
school
was a
bus
part of this whole
license.
thing. It's I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. One more job.
Yeah.
Don't worry. By the final battle, everyone is there. Even the
Snake.
even the kid who pickpocketed Joseph in episode 1
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Yeah.
for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not there right now, though, is he?
Right.
But he's going to be
He-
there for the final battle or whatever?
He's there for like while they're still in New York, and then disappears up until the very final battle.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
Eric.
So he's back in New York, still walking, whatever.
Yeah. So
Still walking over there.
Walking over there.
something kind of happens with Kaz. He's like walking over there to something. He does the arm thing, but like it's kind of like if you see like clips of like a drive-by in like movies where it's like there's just that line of bullets,
Yeah.
but it's like a slice.
Okay.
So it kind of like phew, like all the way through the building, and
To a building, okay.
pretty much everybody dies except the Hamon users who could see it coming. So they like
Oh, they were in the building.
yes,
Okay.
I'm
so
hearing
they
you.
ducked, and then they chased after
Like a hotel or?
him. It was just a building. I think it was a bar.
Okay.
And that's when Stroheim shows off his Tommy gun. That's a Tommy
Yeah.
gun. Like,
Yeah.
and he like shoots off. Doesn't hit a single shot, as is tradition. And then Joseph chases after him. And then there's like a thing where Joseph is like kind of holding Cars over a cliff, and like Cars like, you can just drop
Yeah.
me, like that's fine, because you know
Yeah. I'm not scared of
I'm a
heights.
deity, like
Yeah.
a fall isn't gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And he's like, so don't even think about it. And he's like, yeah, but I want to keep you from getting the stone or something.
Yeah.
And then I think he got it. It's a little dicey. It's a little dicey what happens there.
Okay.
Anyway, so now that happens. That happened before what I'm about to describe because Caesar was there. So,
Okay.
not to spoil anything. So
Okay, yeah,
then.
that's good.
Then we get back to the hotel or whatever they're
Bar,
at
yeah.
for the night or something, and now there is
Holiday Inn or
it's a Holiday Inn Express, so it's like the cheapo one.
tough to travel?
Um,
Yeah, tough to travel.
So yeah, and they're like, I sense this strong evil presence coming from that building over there, and there's like an old abandoned cathedral that looks empty.
Okay.
That's like, oh, there's a strong evil presence coming from there, and Caesar's like, I'm telling you, that's where the Pillar Men are hiding. That's where they're at. We gotta just go in there and we just gotta defeat them. We just gotta go in there and defeat them. And he's like, no, we're not strong enough yet. Like, we still need like blah blah. And then Caesar's like, man, you don't have much time left. Like, we've done all the training we possibly can. Like, this is us at our peak. Like, we can do this. And he's like, no, we can't. We shouldn't. And he's like, well, I'm going without you. These sons of bitches, like, these are the people that killed my grandfather.
Do they call them sons of bitches?
Probably. They're not afraid to swear in JoJo.
They aren't.
It's true.
What's the worst thing you've heard? Can't say it.
Oh.
They say it a lot, but like, it's like, shit. Holy shit. Joseph says holy shit a lot in part 3. It's like one of his catchphrases.
Do they ever use crap?
Joseph survives part 2. Jonathan didn't survive part 1.
So that shows.
So
who
he
is-
got the rings off.
I got a little ahead of myself. Where Dominic was standing right now, he still thought Joseph had 4 days to live. Maybe
Yeah.
3 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Yes, Caesar's like, I'm going in. I'm going to fight him with or without you, Jojo. So Caesar walks into this abandoned church, and suddenly Wamu comes out. And it's like,
Should have done it during the day.
he's like, they did. They
Did-
did.
did
they
It's
respond,
broad-
Wamu?
It's broad daylight.
doing
Wamu?
They said it more like Fred Flintstone says Wilma. That's pretty much how Caesar says it.
Okay.
So they battle. Caesar's kind of special, unique Hamon technique.
Let's just fast forward. Who wins?
Wamu by a landslide.
Oh, is Caesar dead?
Yes, the landslide.
Caesar
joke
the Zappelli?
Yes.
So the good guys lost?
No Zappelli has survived
Damn.
much of
Wait.
anything in
Damn.
JoJo.
So the good guys lost.
Well, one of
It
them
was
did.
just Caesar versus
Yeah.
Wamu 1-on-1.
That was a
Oh.
solo fight. Yeah.
Because Caesar was like, hey, come on, man! Like it's the middle of the day. They're weak. Hell, we could break down the church and just sunlight them.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
And Joseph's like, no, we don't know that for sure. Like blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
we need to prepare. We need to have a game plan. He's like, no, surprise attack. We're going now.
That was
Yeah.
And so then he fights Wamu and loses.
Okay. In a
But
landslide.
he puts up a really good fight.
Okay.
So
Does
and
that
then
matter, or is that
in,
just like
in
a?
Caesar's,
It
in Caesar's
doesn't.
death throes, he launches out one more Hamon bubble, which is what I was about to say is his special technique before you interrupted me to talk about something.
That just sounded disgusting.
Caesar uses bubbles.
Yeah.
Not rocket attack.
Uses bubbles. And so, with his dying breath,
Where does
his
the bubbles
last,
come from?
His last ounce of Hamon, he shoots out one more bubble with his blood to collect the antidote from Wamu's ring
Okay.
off of his face.
I hear you.
And he does that while his attack is still going, his final attack is still going off, slides that through there, so Wamu just thinks it's part of whatever, one got him in the face a little.
Yeah.
It happens. But then, Wamu breaks it off, knocks off a chunk of the ceiling right above where a beatered and battered Caesar is, like, limping at this point, and Caesar gets crushed by a massive chunk of the ceiling. He
Okay.
is dead.
Yeah.
His blood bubble is still floating with the ring inside it.
Where's it going?
Wamu, it's just floating. It's not
Does
going
Wamu
anywhere.
see it?
He's dead. Wamu sees it. And Wamu looks at it, and he says...
School bus.
He says, this is how you know Wamu's a good guy. He sees the blood bubble. He sees the ring, puts two and two together. He did that to give it to Joseph. His final act was not one of personal gain. Like, Caesar was dying no matter what. His last desperation act was to
Get the
empower
whatever.
his friend.
Yeah.
So he sees
Okay.
that and he accepts that. So he walks away without popping the bubble.
really.
Okay.
Does
Wow.
the episode end with
We'll get
in
there.
loving memory of Caesar's Zappelli?
In a timeline.
At the point, actually, it
At
ends
the
with
Oscars that year when they were saying like
with
who
Joseph-
we lost that year was
with
Caesar
Joseph
Zappelli.
and
Where are they
Lisa
now?
Lisa.
Dead.
Yeah.
Joseph and Lisa are coming in, and they're like, because they see all the commotion,
Wamu!
all the stuff, and they're like, oh no,
Caesar!
It's like, oh god, where's Caesar? Like, clearly a battle's happened. There's holes all throughout the walls.
Right.
There's like blood and viscera
Probably
everywhere. And
heard
they're
it.
like, oh my god, like where's Caesar? Like I don't feel his life force. Like where is he? And then that's when Joseph sees the blood bubble, and he puts two and two together. Like Caesar wouldn't have used his blood to create the bubble unless he had to,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing he had left. And then it pops.
Unless he had to, he was like, ooh,
It
you know,
pops.
this
He
is kinda
sees the
fun.
he sees the antidote ring, and he just breaks down. He loses it because at this point Caesar and Joseph have become like brothers.
Right.
So he doesn't even know where his body is. Little does he know his wails and is like, this isn't fair. Like
Yeah.
onto this random chunk of stone that's in front of him is the piece that's crushing his friend. Like he doesn't even know
It's kind
that.
of messed up.
That's kind of.
And
Like Caesar's
Lisa-
not even fully dead yet.
Oh, he's
fully dead.
completely dead. This
Oh,
man
okay.
got flattened. The chunk of ceiling that fell on him was probably like 3 cinder blocks thick from
Yeah.
like thickness, and it was
ceiling.
kind of shaped like a cross a little bit. I think they were going for some symbolism there.
Perhaps.
And yeah, huge. Even a massive beefcake like Caesar's Zappelli, you'd never even see the splatter.
wow.
So yeah,
And you don't?
And you don't. So Lisa is like, "Come on, Jojo, we've got to
Yeah.
finish this now."
Use
like
that.
she wants the vengeance, and Joseph's still in his throes of like agony and pain and just
Yeah.
like misery, and he's like calling her out for not caring. Like, he was her apprentice before, or he was her apprentice before all of this and
Right.
everything too. Like they've got a history. They knew each other. Like, how can you be so heartless just walking away? And that's like, she like looks over and he sees that she's like crying, but she knows like we have to go, and that kind of inspires him to get up, and then they go.
Does he use the
Yeah, did he
antidote?
pop the bubble and get the...
Is there
So
any
he
point
pops-
where Wamu's behind Jojo and Jojo says he's right behind me, isn't he?
No, but we're almost to the doorman fight, like the guy who's like a door.
So that happens.
So Joseph
Caesar's a belly guy.
Joseph sees the antidote.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Now he has it in his hand, and he thinks about using it, and he says, "Not yet." And
What?
he puts it in his pocket.
Why would he not? What's the point of waiting?
Well, because frankly, well, actually no. At this point, he does have both.
I was gonna say, what's
How
the
many
other-
'cause he
episodes are
killed
left?
The first guy had the antidote, and like he had like an
Oh, he
antler
also-
thing.
okay.
on his-
Oh wait, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to ask
there's
about
a
that,
separate
too.
poison for the first
Oh,
one.
I thought
I was gonna ask about that. So okay.
Wamu and Cars had it, not the.
Wamu and name I forget.
Other guy, the dickhead guy that was
Yeah,
already killed.
the guy who's kind of a snarky ass.
Wamu.
Oh, okay. So they got both.
Yeah,
Why,
so he's
what's
got
the point
he's got
of
both
waiting
poisons.
at this point?
He both antidotes. He used the first one,
Oh, they can suck
and
blood
then
now.
he's saving the one from Wamu because he didn't earn it. Like it was given
Who
to him.
cares? You have the. You're about to die.
yeah.
He doesn't. This is like his like flashing forward a little bit after the Joseph and Wamu fight. Joseph wins. Then, as it's just Wamu's decapitated head,
Wow.
still talking because he hasn't quite fully died yet.
Oh, wait,
That's
wait,
when
does he go down in the ocean too and he's right next to Dio's head?
Oh, cute.
talk to
Joseph
each other.
Joseph pulls the
Post-credit
antidote
scene.
out of his pocket
Yeah.
to show him like, hey,
How long
I
you
kept
been
my
here?
word. Like, not until I beat you. And then he takes it, and then Wamu dies a happy man.
Okay, that's
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm only skipping ahead like an episode and a half. Like,
Sure.
not
You
even.
like Wamu?
Wait, I also have a
I
question.
do. I think
How did
Wamu's
he-
Seems kind of cool.
well written character.
Joseph's kind of like just like a human guy with some powers.
Mhm.
How, when they put the rings on his lung and his throat, he didn't die just from being opened up like that?
Aztec stripper gods.
It's a little like
Yeah,
magic, you know?
Yeah, dumb ass stuff super good.
No.
And this
I
is
don't know.
definitely a world where magic exists because, by God, we haven't gotten to stands yet. Magic
know what a
is
stand
definitely
is.
real. You'll find out.
Ooh, yeah.
You'll find out. That's a little teaser
the
for part
answer
3.
to it, you know?
So he made it
Spooky.
out. We only lost Caesar in this.
So far, yes, we've only lost Caesar.
We're about to lose Wamu.
Weird.
Well, that's fine. No, we need to
kinda
lose
just
him.
lost him. Yeah.
Wamu
So-
seems like a stand-up guy if
No.
he wasn't an evil.
Yeah,
he seems
actually,
pretty
I think
chill.
horrible
Yeah, he
kind
seems
of.
pretty
being.
chill. Yeah.
He seems understandable.
So we're in the corridor. We're going deeper into the complex to try and find Wamu and Cars. And suddenly,
I thought we
this
found Wamu. We just hit the captain.
Wamu went back.
We're going
and
back, yeah.
I jumped ahead a little
Yeah, we're
bit
jumping
for,
back
the-
everywhere.
for the
What
ring
what
thing.
what is Wamu like wearing like a business suit or something?
He is wearing a loincloth, shoulder pads, and a headdress.
What was he doing for the past month?
Apparently living in this abandoned cathedral.
I'm just chilling.
Just kind of
Waiting to
chilling.
battle.
All right.
I haven't mentioned this yet, but Wamu's special power is like cyclones. Like the wind.
All right, Eric.
So we're going down the corridor. It feels there's an evil presence coming, so they're like, okay, it's just beyond this door.
Yeah.
They go to open the door. Turns out this door is like a dude.
Then there.
And then he tries to fight Lisa, saying like how like strong he is. It's kind of like a little bit of like a callback to part 1 when like there were those 5 zombies that introduced themselves with names and backstories.
That is
And
awesome. That is such a cool throwback.
and then
fans.
immediately get one-shotted. In part
Yeah.
1, they're fighting a bunch of people, and then these 5 zombies give like their names and a little background about themselves individually, and then Straitso, who was a good guy at this point and not dead,
Yeah.
Well,
does a single attack and it kills all 5 of them at once. It's just like
Very impressive.
it's just kind of silly.
Kind of a bait and switch.
I liked that.
Very
I liked when that
impressive, yeah.
happens.
Good, I'm
And then
glad
a
you
door
liked that.
guy, you know, he's going off about how powerful he is and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then Lisa just
Is he more door or more guy?
he looked like more door at first, but he's definitely more guy.
Okay.
And
Is
then
it like some
then
Beauty
she,
and the Beast bullshit, like the clock? Like
Sure.
it's like the clock, but has like
It's
a
like
face or
eyes,
something.
yeah.
And then Lisa one shots them, and they continue
Door.
on their way.
Okay.
Okay.
And now here we are. We got Lisa and Jojo talking to Cars and Wamu, and Cars and
Yeah.
Wamu are like, "You sons of bitches killed third guy." He's like, "Well, third guy attacked us," and then they're debating, and they're using their words because
All right.
Wamu and Cars have already kind of proven at this point that like they don't fight unless they feel they need to because they're so far above everything.
As
like
a Tripper God, yeah.
Would you feel the need to kill every bug you see on the ground?
Not everyone, no.
Right. If it's in your way, sure. If it's in your house, sure.
Yeah.
But if it's, if it's
I'm not hunting bugs.
if it's in a yard and you're on the sidewalk, you probably don't even notice it.
No harm, no
Probably
foul.
don't even notice it's there.
Grass
That's how
is
they
greener.
feel. That's how they feel about humans.
Yeah.
Although Cars does like animals. When he was pretending
Relevance?
to be a person,
What kind of animals, Eric?
all of them. There was a scene where like a little bunny was hopping across like the street, and a car like swerved to try and hit the bunny, and Cars jumps in front of the car,
Oh, that's ironic.
and it crashes into him, but he's a
Wanna do
pillar
that again?
man. So
yeah,
the
car v car.
So the car hitting Cars basically just bends around him and kills everybody inside.
Yeah.
And then the car itself he lifts up and throws behind him. It goes flying and ends up landing upside down.
That's pretty sweet.
And the bunny's fine.
That's
Did
pretty
you do
sweet.
anything with a fish or something?
No,
Okay, well, not all animals, Eric.
he went out of his way to save a rabbit
Yeah, okay.
for no real reason.
All right.
He just kind of did.
It's nice.
He's
Nobody
got a
wants
soft side. He's
nobody
got a
likes to
soft
see a
side.
rabbit die.
And Wamu's a very honorable warrior.
Yeah.
So
the
you
other
know,
guy's a dickhead, but 2 for 3 is not bad.
yeah, the other guy was kind of an asshole, but like, yeah, it's still that's
Decent
and
rate.
and the asshole's dead at this point. So
All's well that ends well.
we're having a diplomatic discussion about, what needs to happen. Like, it's clear they're trying to become an ultimate life form.
Yeah.
They're trying to be the one thing that can rule the entire world through sheer fear and power alone. And obviously, they don't want that. They believe the world should still be run by the humans,
Sure.
and everything. So Wamu talks Cars into settling this honorably like warriors
Chess.
in 1v1
Yeah,
battles.
do they do something other than fight? Do they roll? I don't know, roll some dice.
How's this?
Roll a few blunts. You know what I'm
So-
saying?
So poker is a battle in part 3, and so is video games to the death.
Really?
Yep, that both happens in part 3.
Wow, that
Gambling
sounds
and video
fun.
games.
Okay, cool.
Both to the death.
Cool. What happens here?
So here we've got
I
an
just wanna
honorable warrior clash. So obviously when you hear that term, what you're picturing in your head is we're going to go to the Colosseum in Rome and we're going to have a death race by horse and chariot around it where you can only use the weapons that are left on the field that are stuck inside pieces of the Colosseum.
Just thinking that. Yeah, that's
He's
pretty
in my
sweet.
mind, I swear.
So that is how Joseph v. Wamu happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually kind of a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. I like
these
that.
Everything
are-
up to this point is just odd.
It's been
Sitting there just-
it's been a chore this entire time until this part.
Yeah.
But this part's really good. It's really well shot, well paced. So like they're doing laps, and your goal is to get a weapon and strike
Kill.
the person and kill
Yeah.
the person while still on the chariot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these horses, these are not human horses. Joseph
What are
at a
they?
huge disadvantage.
Oh.
They
Not
are
human horses.
Like
human-
normal horses
like normal
are human
horse.
horses.
normal horse, human horse. These are Aztec stripper god horses.
Oh, I see what
they
you're
are.
saying.
They are
Oh,
like
I got you.
They are like
horses.
they are like 10 feet tall. They are
Yeah.
like 600 pounds, and they're fast as shit.
I feel like
Okay.
normal horses are
So
like
Joseph can
heavier than
barely
that.
even control this fucking horse, and he's supposed to, do this gauntlet battle.
Right.
So they fight. Few funny moments. Joseph, sees like the huge weapon, and he's like, "All right, this will do some damage." He takes that, but now he's trying to carry this massive axe while he's also trying to control this massive horse.
A lot of big
And then
things.
Wamu just takes like this little thing and successfully gets a hit on him.
Yeah.
It's not a hit to kill, but you don't really need that. You just need to like slow him down, incapacitate him, so that way you can finish him off.
Right.
Battle continues. Joseph does some more Hamon magicry, some more smart guy stuff.
Is that allowed in this fight?
When
Yeah.
he's on the big
'Cause
horse with
he's
the
a warrior.
big axe,
He's not using any weapons not provided.
when Jojo has the big axe, does he go, "Oh, now this is awesome"?
I need a bigger gun.
Yes, he does.
See? I'm just thinking of
yeah.
oh, he's right behind me, isn't he?
I forget why, but at one point Wamu intentionally blinds himself to avoid one of Joseph's attacks. Oh yeah,
Okay.
Joseph was being kind of sneaky, kind of shady. The whole like the rules are the rules, but you didn't say I couldn't.
Yeah, use magic
Kinda
or whatever.
So he's taking fistfuls of sand and throwing them in Wamu's eyes.
Okay.
Because he's an immortal god, but he's still got eyes.
Still
Like,
sensitive
it's still like,
Yeah.
oh.
No, I mean, if you're an immortal god, you got eyes. You got
So
eyes,
then Wamu being a hard ass because Joseph's throwing sand in his eyes
get
and
it.
it's pissing him off, he just rips out his own eyes because
That seems like a better alternative.
It seems rational.
blind
Yeah.
him?
Seems rational that.
yeah. But he is so he's so powerful. Like his hearing works kind of like bat sonar.
I was about to say it's like a
he's
bat, yeah.
It's really not much of a. He's in no different of a place really.
Okay. He's just not at a
although
disadvantage.
Joseph can read between the lines, figures out how to exploit the sound to throw him off about his location, and then get in
Sure.
a sneak attack.
Sure.
And then
How?
You just throw your voice over somewhere, like
Or just a rock or
ventriloquists
something, yeah.
do
Hamon.
that.
Oh yeah.
Hamon,
yeah.
it's you're controlling the ripple of the earth. Colosseum's made of stone.
Yeah.
You can channel it through the
Think
stone
about it before you speak.
to make
That just
things
makes sense.
appear from over elsewhere, and he does it. He
That
does
is-
it. Joseph is very clever.
Yeah.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I'd say if you can't see, it's a good time for a school bus sneak attack. Too.
Eventually,
true.
Joseph prevails. Wamu is decapitated.
Nice.
And that's when he's like, "Oh, you played dirty. You've got no honor." He's like, "Oh,"
Yeah, a little
and then
bit.
he shows the ring. He's like, "My best friend died to give me this, and I promised I wouldn't use it until I defeated you." And he's like, "Wow, you are a true-hearted warrior."
That's all it took.
Yep.
Even though he cheated in battle like 7 times.
He didn't really cheat.
He did what he was given.
Yeah, he
guess.
only used tools provided by the Colosseum.
Yeah.
All right.
Sand,
I mean, throwing sand
rock.
in the eye, you may look at that like, oh, that's a cheap thing. But I
Still
mean,
cheap
you're in
shot.
battle. I mean, what isn't cheap?
It's life or
Yeah,
death.
it's literally life and death.
Alright.
Like,
Yeah, I would do that too.
But he changed his tone very fast.
and not once.
Does he ever kick Wamu in the balls?
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Not once did Joseph hit below the belt. So yeah, it's above board. It is above board. Not even
This
once.
is gonna hurt. That's another one.
oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
So the agreement that they made in the cathedral is still on. Joseph wins round 1. So now,
one,
if
okay.
Lisa wins round 2,
Oh god, there's
then that
another
means
fucking round.
it's over. Then that means it's
Who's
over. It's
Lisa fighting?
Lisa's fighting Cars.
I thought he was.
It was the master and the student for both of them.
Oh.
So
Alright.
Cars is the master pillar man.
Yeah.
Lisa's the master Hamon user.
Oh.
Joseph's the apprentice,
What's-
and Juan was
what's-
the warrior.
I'm just gonna assume
under
Lisa's
Cars.
gonna win, right?
Don't wait a minute.
Nope.
You were
Lisa
way
dies.
Cars is full of shit. Cars is full of shit.
Wow.
So he was only placating that it was going to be a fair fight and all this to in front of Wamu because he respected Wamu.
Yeah, Wamu
and he
likes
didn't
fair
wanna,
fights,
He didn't
whatever,
want to, and shoot on his wishes. So now that
Alright.
Wamu's dead, Cars has a single-minded ambition: get the stone, ultimate life form, rule the world.
One track horse.
So what he does is he sets up a decoy of himself to look like it's the main battler. So
Okay.
Lisa goes to fight that, and then Cars comes out of fucking nowhere and just like
Okay.
just kills her.
Cool.
Not quite. She doesn't actually die.
Oh.
Once again, mortally wounded, but now he's got the stone.
Oh,
And then it's when Joseph's like, "Oh my god, you're not like Wamu was saying I wasn't fighting fair because I'm using fucking sand, but
Yeah.
that's bullshit. Like
Yeah.
you had that
That's way
prepped
worse.
and
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Because even in the ring when they're watching it, that was the decoy. It was him. Joseph is now holding on to
Finals.
Lisa, and now it's time for the big reveal. Joseph's father didn't know what Hamon was, didn't know what was going on with it. Lisa is Joseph's mother.
How?
What?
Yep. Hamon Master. She looks like she's 30, but she's actually in her mid to late 50s.
Oh, and Jojo tried to
Peep on her in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yep. But at the time, it was just a
know.
lady. It wasn't his mom.
Yep.
How? How was that?
JoJo's gets bizarre, doesn't it?
But did I explain it, or is it just like?
Yeah, basically, she was training Hamon in secret, away even from George, her husband. Lisa also is the baby that Irina saved at the end of part 1.
wait,
Okay.
So her parents died on that boat.
hey Eric.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry if I missed something, but at this point, Lisa is like it's like, oh wow, she died.
Yeah, she just died, right?
Do they?
She's-
can she,
she
So
is-
does
she's not dead,
does
she's
she
just,
get
like-
resurrected with JoJo's tears?
Or become
No,
like
she's-
JoJo.
No, because Cars
All these
again,
random cliches.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
want-
again, Cars only cares about getting the stone.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care if he has to kill. He doesn't care if he just has to, do a
Steal.
little sucker punch and then gets it. He just wants the stone because
Sure.
once he's the ultimate life form,
Yeah, who gives at that point?
Lisa ain't gonna be a factor.
Yeah.
Like
Lisa
she just-
Joestar.
Like
Is
she-
Lisa her last name?
Lisa is like
that's her
a.
full first name.
That's what she goes by. I don't think it's her real name. It's like a pen name. But anyway, yes. So she was training the ways of Hamon because she was like saved by Irina from the Dio boat. So like, she kind
Does
of
the boat look like Dio?
no.
I just imagine like it's
but-
like the
but
like
by
the
part-
King of Red Lions or something from Zelda, but the head is Dio or something.
God, I kind of wish that's how they had it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. But yeah, so basically she was training under Hamon because she actually knew what it was because of like her situation, but they didn't want George knowing because it's what killed Jonathan. They didn't
Eric,
want
you
that
do
to be-
realize this is probably 3 hours.
There's a good chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might as well just
okay.
watch the whole thing.
Okay, so
It's a similar length.
So yeah, we get her going, and yeah, George is a pilot in the military during World War One. He
Okay.
goes into enemy lines, and he gets killed by a zombie ghoul thing from part one
I remember reading
because
about
there
that.
are still vampires.
Okay.
And Lisa, hearing that, decides to use her Hamon to kill it, and then has to go into hiding after that.
How many episodes are left?
We are in the final episode.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
Okay.
now Joseph knows, oh my god, you're my mom. Oh my god, like,
Yeah.
holy hell, like, he just thought she was dead.
catch up.
And so then,
You got a lot of birthdays you gotta catch up on, eh?
Cars has the stone and the mask.
presents?
Yeah.
Cars has the stone and the mask. He puts the mask on, and he goes to throw in the thing, but suddenly, here comes literally everybody. Stroheim, an army of Germans.
Wow.
The pickpocket from the very beginning, Speedwagon, everybody.
Speedwagon's
Everybody
back.
shows up to the
Robert
Coliseum,
Leo
That's big. That's big.
to just outside the Coliseum for this final showdown.
Cool.
And
With just
and Joseph's
cars.
just screaming at him like, "Do not let him put on that mask." So
Yeah.
they shine that UV light
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
They made a way bigger one and they shoot
Yeah.
it out at him,
Smart.
and it hits him. That'll turn him to stone. They've already proven that.
Right.
But he gets the jewel in his mask, and it activates.
But he doesn't
Uh-oh.
have the blood.
Right, but the sunlight also works apparently. I
Oh,
don't know.
great. Yeah. Okay,
Something,
cool.
something like that.
Oh,
He might have just saved some of Wamu's blood. I don't know.
Okay,
okay.
fine.
So he puts it on. Sunlight hits him. Bam! It's like, oh, we got him. He's going down. We win. And then suddenly the mask falls off, and Cars' hair got longer. That's how you know he upgraded his power.
Long
And,
ago.
uh,
Okay.
So then he's
Cars
like,
looks like.
and then he's like,
Max-
ha
max level
And then
Cars.
they're like, oh god, what's he gonna do? He's the ultimate being now.
Yeah.
Like, what can he do?
There's no way you win
And
now.
He doesn't even acknowledge anybody. He just kind of looks at himself, and then he turns like his hand into a squirrel, and then the squirrel goes and plays with another squirrel.
That's
They're
not what I
like-
expected him to look like.
Yeah, me neither.
And they're like, oh,
Me neither.
Please tell me he just showed you like a picture of like I don't know
It's
like
Tomater from Cars.
Yeah.
Garfield.
and then they're like, oh, so he's not even attacking. Like, what's his plan? What's he doing? Like, I'm not like we don't even feel threatened. And then the squirrel that his hands turned into eats the other squirrel. And they're like, oh god,
It's got pretty
And
bizarre
then
pretty
the
quick.
sun comes
be
up, and they're
continued.
like, okay, well the real sun will kill him. Like maybe just the UV light didn't work.
Yeah.
But the real sun comes out, and now he's even stronger. He grows wings and he can fly.
Okay.
So they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then Jojo's like, I don't care, I'm taking him on. And then they begin the ultimate life form fight. Cars can do
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
It's explained that like any carbon-based thing, he can just create
Right.
from nothing. And
How long is this episode?
Yeah, right?
20 minutes.
Really? Jeez.
Yeah. technically,
There's a lot going on in this last
I
one.
did kind of cheese you when you asked how far are we. We were at the very, very end of the episode before last.
Okay.
Eric.
Well,
Gotcha.
And this one's
Eric.
just the fight. This one's
Okay.
just the fight, and then a little bit of epilogue.
okay.
So, bam, big fight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Major highlight. Cars thinks he wins, so he goes to fly away to, begin his master plan. When suddenly he's flying over the ocean, and Jojo comes out of fucking nowhere in a stolen airplane. And,
So it's kind of like the bus thing.
Yes. And he goes trying to run it into him, and then suddenly Stroheim, who he didn't realize was like
That's gun guy,
in the
right?
plane, yep,
Okay.
is like, all right, here's how we're gonna do this. He's like, when the fuck did you get here? And then they crash into him, and then just
Better late than never.
the velocity that they're going into.
You didn't think
the
you'd do this without me.
The plane crashes into cars, and they're trying to send the crash inside of a volcano so they can at least trap him in magma or something. Like they're just fucking shooting in the dark here. They have no idea what to do. So boom, into a volcano. Stroheim is down to just like torso and like nothing else at this point. This is the second time he's been dismembered.
I'm hearing you.
And Joseph's like, there we go. And then Cars comes out of the volcano, and he's like, bleh, I'm still unstoppable. And Joseph's like, beat to hell, just survived a plane crash. And he's like,
Yeah.
aw, hell. So, in a little bit of
you again.
a little bit of coming full circle. A little bit
just
of
don't
coming
quit,
full
do you?
Circle. At the beginning of the series, Joseph used a bottle cap with Hamon to shoot a cop.
Right.
To hit his
At
finger.
the end of part 2, Joseph uses his Hamon to fill a volcano, cause an eruption, launching a bit of stone into outer fucking space with cars still on it, and it's going so fast. He's the ultimate life form, but he can't get off of it just from all the force pushing him out there. So now
Are they still-
we
are
have
they on
a
the rock
vampire Aztec god launched into space.
Yeah, just loose in orbit now.
And and he's like, "You fool! I don't even
You
I
fell
don't
for
even
it.
need an atmosphere. I am
Yeah.
the ultimate being."
Sure.
And then he turns around, but he's still going back. And he's trying his damnedest to move forward, but
Swim
he's got
forward.
nothing, no way of coming back into Earth's gravity because he's so
Right.
far away at this point. And he's like, "Oh no!" And then as he drifts further away from the sun, he begins to fully solidify into a rock. And now
Not the place.
he's basically not the place once again. We're deep into space at this
Yeah.
point. And Cars is now reverted back to basically a pillar man,
Wow.
the pillar ultimate life form, but a
Full
pillar man
circle.
nonetheless. And he's just floating adrift in space, never to be taken again. And
Maybe in
the-
a different part, like if it becomes like really sci-fi or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe it could
NASA's
come
like,
back.
sir, we got a
I
ping
think
on
it's
our
a crossover
radars.
to-
Yeah.
and the narrator even says Cars began to drift away, and eventually
There's
he
a
even,
narrator this whole time.
Yeah, the narrator gets really hype.
Alright.
Especially in the early parts. In the later parts, he's more just kind
out.
of there sometimes. But
Holy shit!
and the
You guys see that?
early parts, he's
Send him to space.
all like, "Jojo survives the bloody encounter with Dio in the burning house."
That's like it's like a
He
ringside
get-
announcement.
Yeah.
he gets
And
kind of hype.
still the WWE lightweight
He
champion.
gets kind of hype. So Cars, think about it. Cars adrift in space.
I'm not gonna
cannot-
think about it.
Doesn't
much.
even think anymore.
So he's like a rock man. It's rock in space
He's
now.
dead.
Yep,
Not the place to rock.
he's alive, but he is
There's
Frozen,
nothing he can
basically.
do.
nothing he can do.
Wow.
He's just
So he's won. So,
Yeah.
But at this point, we've got Stroheim on top of a volcano that just erupted, and he has no legs.
Yeah.
Joseph's nowhere to be seen. He got launched fucking somewhere in
he
the
got launched.
explosion.
Okay.
So everybody just assumes he sacrificed himself to save the world, much like his grandfather did before him. So
make the most sense.
everybody's there at Joseph's funeral,
And
thinking
They're all
like,
mourning.
like, "Oh man, like no, like Jojo," and Susie Q's taking it the hardest because she really wanted to marry him.
Sure.
And then suddenly Joseph just comes up behind everybody and he's like,
Surprise,
"Hey,
Did
surprise.
you miss me?
the funeral
You can't get
attendant,
rid of
one
me
of-
that easily.
one of the groundskeepers at the funeral is like yelling at him in the background because it's like, "Hey, this is a funeral. You need to be a little more respectful and appropriate," because he's just being loud and goofy because he's Joseph.
Yeah.
And then
Classic.
the commotion causes everybody to look, and they're like,
That's him.
Joseph? And he's like, hey guys, whose funeral are we at? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh my god. And he's like, what? That's my grave. I didn't die. Stroheim just took me in and helped me get this. And now he's got a,
school bus runs
now
him
he's got a
over.
robot arm, which you will see a lot of in part 3.
So Stroheim's still alive too?
Yep.
Wow.
He got new legs.
And then
Nice.
yes, because German
German
science
ingenuity.
is the
Yeah.
greatest in the world, I believe is his catchphrase.
That's a quick catchphrase.
Now it's time for epilogue.
I can see you
So,
using that on the daily.
Joseph marries Susie Q. Robert E.O. Speedwagon dies peacefully of old age in the 1950s, never having been married. R.I.P. the legend. Stroheim gets gunned down in the Battle of Stalingrad.
Wow.
So he can survive all of this goddamn nonsense,
Then die in
but
war.
World War II kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As he's like the ultimate weapon or
Just
whatever
too much
too.
for
So
him.
damn, that's
Yep.
tough.
Pickpocket Kid becomes the first black mayor of NYC in the Jojo canon.
All right. He was at the final battle though? Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he was there. He didn't really
Okay.
do anything. He was
was
just kind of there to
Does he have any powers, or is he just kind
yell
of like a
about
guy?
it. No, he's just a guy.
Okay.
So they just drop that on you, and they're just like, hey, and this is what happened to him.
Yep.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
Is there any
and-
setup for the next part, or is it just kind of like?
So part 2 into part 3, they do the most setup of anything,
Wow.
and it's
oh,
literally
God, Eric, I gotta pee.
it's literally a 1-minute scene. Usually it's just
It's
like
gonna take
a
30
screenshot.
minutes to explain.
I feel
Old
like-
man in airport yelling at people because he doesn't like Japan because they took his daughter because she married a guy and moved to Japan, even though he lives in New York. And he says, I'm Joseph Joestar, but he's an old man. You're like, whoa, dude, like, what year is this? And then it says, it's like, oh, it's the 1980s. And then it cuts to a prison, and you hear some menacing music. And then a guy who looks like a Jojo turns his head, and he's in a cell. Dun, dun, dun.
New JoJo,
New Jojo.
but old JoJo still too.
Is
New
this
JoJo.
where
Two
you got
JoJo.
hooked?
I stopped watching right before the Caesar death.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then I started watching again, got to the Caesar death, got to the cool Coliseum fights, and the ending just so absurd, everything looping back together. I loved that. Started craving more, because that was only like 4 episodes I had left or something.
Sure.
And so I started looking at like, where the do I find the rest of it? Netflix only has 25 episodes. I had to go to Hulu to get part 3 and 4, but part 4, they were missing like a couple random episodes. So that was wonky.
Spaghetti
I had to
episode?
do some shit. They had spaghetti episode.
Ah.
They had the spaghetti
You're that
episode.
dumb? The spaghetti episode
Your
is
day's
here.
saved.
If you're here for part 4, spaghetti episode will be covered.
Perfect. I can't wait.
Yeah, then part 5 was finishing up being aired while I was doing this hunt. So I had no expectation of seeing that for a while. But yeah, I managed to scrounge it all up, got to watch all of them. I'm like, hell yeah. And then part 5 came out, and I watched it on Hulu again. I'm like, hell yeah. Then Netflix got everything and started mishandling the release of
What'd
part
you say
6.
after that?
I was like, oh, hell yeah. I prefer streaming things on Netflix because like the UI actually makes sense.
Yeah.
There's not bad load times. There's no ads. Which yes, I could pay for the Hulu without ads, but I'm a cheap bastard.
Good.
Like,
could, to be fair.
it's not worth it to me. But it's so like if something's on Netflix and Hulu, I'm watching it on Netflix. But if something's only on Hulu, I suck it up and watch the ads. Like whatever.
Yeah. True.
So
Seriously.
now Netflix has all of JoJo, even the newest stuff.
Oh, they're
Wow.
up to date.
Really?
That sounds cool.
Dang.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
Come over here, man. Hey, man, come over here.
I'm going to pop a squat.
Yeah, over for the camera, man.
You get one question.
One for Eric.
Yeah, one question for Eric.
Yeah. What do you
man.
think about that?
Can be about
JoJo themed?
Can be about JoJo Part 2. Can be about JoJo Part 1. Can be completely unrelated.
You guys discussed JoJo Part 2 right now?
Yes.
We've talked a little bit about it.
A little bit. Yeah, a few minutes. A few minutes of
We
JoJo.
briefly went over part 2.
Briefly, succinctly, and without any factual errors.
And no distractions.
0 tangents.
Okay.
The second shortest part.
Oh, great.
Eric, are those the breast cancer socks?
Yes, actually.
Dude, I had those in freaking high school, man. Those are ancient. I forgot all about those.
Yeah, they still fit.
Wow. Yep.
They're mine though. I didn't steal yours.
No, I understand that.
Well, part 3 soon.